All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hope everyone can hear me. Thank you very much for being here. We're starting, well behind schedule. I was in a meeting earlier and I had to send a message, to our Telegram channel that we're going to, have the session later than scheduled. Well, thank you very much for being here. And of course, it's not going to be very long because it's already 28 minutes to 7. But we'll see how much we can cover today. Maybe not get into the full topic, but we're, going to talk about the things happening and also maybe bring some people up as well. Good evening, Omoni Budo. Thank you very much for being here. Hope everybody's fine. One second, please. Good evening, Val. How are you, sir? Just trying to make sure we're good on every platform that we can get into today's conversation. Today we are calling it Matters Arising, like we did on Friday. Was it Friday? Yes, Friday. Matters Arising. I think it's the best title, especially on days like this when there's a lot to talk about and there's a possibility we don't get to discuss the day's topic. We're supposed to start a new series today, but let's see how this goes since we're starting well behind schedule. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. Thank you very much. Please like and share the stream. If you're here on TikTok, thank you very much for power tapping. Please don't stop. I'm sure everybody's, well, I was going to say everybody's done with work, but I know that some people are probably using a different time, in a different time zone. Please, wherever you are, kindly power tap. If you're on TikTok, please click on the heart icon just above my head here and join the team. If you remember already, kindly click on it and drop a heart me, drop a gift. Let's try and push the live together to the FYP. Thanks to guys on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Kindly like and share the live. We're going to have a fantastic time together this evening. All right. Is good, and then we can get into it. Okay. I got new books this weekend. So somebody had written like a response to a particular statement that someone made online, and it referred to some books. So I had to find a way to get some of those books, and it was really good that we were able to do so. All right. Oh boy, where was I? So let's get into this. Let's start with the news like we always do. So I was saying, yes, that somebody was responding to a comment made by another person, and they referred to a number of books, and we might get to discussing some of those books today, in today's session. All right. Well, let's start with what's happening. Is Matters Arising, right? We had an interesting weekend. I think we should start with good news. Roku in Kwara State. I mean, we all know what happened last week. Terrible event where people were abducted, 38 of them. 2 people were killed. 1 person was at the hospital recuperating after the attack by the, shall we call them bandits or terrorists? Regardless of what you call them, they are terrorists because they are terrorizing people. Anyway, a video was released yesterday. The 38 abducted Christ Apostolic Church members who were rescued, I'll say that again, the 38 abducted Christ Apostolic Church members were rescued yesterday, and I'd like you to take a listen to some of the things. Interestingly, I should even start by saying this. You know, yesterday morning they had service, and I think that's the best place to start. They had a service yesterday, regardless of what happened. I mean, it was terrible what happened. And when I saw the video, you know, after churches, I was actually challenged. You know, if you're a person of faith, like when things like this happen, what do you do? It's easy to pontificate, but when you see people actually do something, somehow it inspires you, and this is actually quite inspiring. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to move on to the video showing the folks who were, you know, rescued from the den of these kidnappers and bandits yesterday. So let's start with the message by the pastor.
Nítorí èmi lọ pèsè àyè sílẹ̀ fún yín, tí mo bá fi lọ pèsè àyè, èmi ò tún padà wá pé níbi tí èmi wà kí èmi lè wà ńbẹ̀. And that's why as a Christian you must not fear death. Jesus has promised you eternal life. Ó ti ṣèlérí ayérayé fún wa. Ẹ má jà bẹ̀rù ikú, ibikíbi tí ikú bá ti dé, má ṣe Jésù. Tó o bá ti ṣe Jésù, ìlérí yìí wà fún ọ wípé ọmọ aládé àlàáfíà, ó mú ọ lọ sí ìjọba àlàáfíà. Ayé ìlópin o, ṣùgbọ́n ìjọba tí Jésù ń bọ̀ wá ṣe olùlópin ìjọba ayérayé. Olópin sọ pé kí a má ṣe jẹ́ kí ọkàn wa dàrú. Irú àwọn ọmọ bíréèdì, ẹ má ṣe jẹ́ kí ọkàn rí dàrú. Ní ti àwọn náà ti pa, I want you to rejoice wípé ẹsẹ̀ Jésù náà kú sí. Wọ́n kú ikú olódodo, wọ́n kú ikú ajẹ́rìí ikú. Gbogbo ẹnikẹ́ni tán bá ti pa nítorí ìrere, ajẹ́rìí ikú ni. Ajẹ́rìí ikú nínú Bíbélì, wọ́n lè ṣàlàyé rẹ̀ fún wa wípé Ọlọ́run ló padà gbẹ̀san wọn. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ wọn máa kígbe ẹ̀san. Gbogbo àwọn aṣebíyẹ, ẹ máa wò, ìdájọ́ Ọlọ́run ṣe ń bọ̀ wá lórí wọn. Ó mú sùúrù fún gbogbo wa wípé olúkúlùkù ó ronú padà, kì í ṣe pé Jésù ti yẹ kó dé o, ṣùgbọ́n ó wò pé ṣé o ti múra, ó wò pé ṣé mo ti múra, ó wò pé ṣé o ti ronú padà. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tí ó yẹ ká bẹ̀rù ó là ń bẹ̀rù o. Tí ó bá jẹ́ ọmọ Ọlọ́run ò ní láti bẹ̀rù ikú, torí Bíbélì sọ fún wa pé ikú jẹ́ ọ̀nà sí ìyè. Tó bá ti dúró.
So the video shows people coming out of the church and some security personnel in the background with a vehicle positioned in front of the church building. I mean, regardless of all that, I just think it's quite inspiring that the church would have a service yesterday and that the pastor would preach the way he did, talking about the fact that, you know, there is no need for anyone to be afraid of death. And he also talked about the people who lost their lives, which is quite instructive. All right, that was in the morning. Well, later in the day, the people were released and they were received by the governor of Kwara State, Governor Abdurrahman. Here's a video from TVC News on what happened. Take a listen, please.
But you never heard about the religious dimension of it. And lately, you're hearing that, Catholic students are being kidnapped. It's because of the negative narrative or perception that, we have a Christian genocide. I now see the who have not been there before have brought the new development of the kidnappings and all the things you're seeing. So it has never been there before. Not the ungoverned forests in Kogi, Yaba East, Yaba West are now being occupied by bandits action, which we didn't see in the last decade. For Plateau State and Benue State, there have been decades of crisis from 2001 to date. So their own crises have been there from that, from that time up to this moment. So it's not as if the crisis is just occurring or North Central is now on the front page. It's because of the new narrative that we have on the global stage, tagging Nigeria as having high level of Christian genocide coming from Benue State and Plateau State. Of course, the people in Benue State are majorly Christians, and the people in Plateau State are majorly Christians as well. That's why when you see the levels of killings that is happening are majorly affected by the Christian community. But that doesn't mean that the Muslim community in those states are not also. And
that doesn't mean they were particularly targeted.
We are also encouraging the community to give us intelligence reports as soon as they get it. So with the creation of my office community engagement, we've set up community peace structures in Kogi State, Benue State, and Plateau State because of the nature of the occurrences that have been happening lately, for the community to get closer to us and give us intelligence as soon as it's happening, so that we can help the security agency with the relevant information. We also train them about intelligence gathering, communication skills, so that they know what to do, how to identify small little problems that we can escalate into higher level for analysis and also reporting. So we've encouraged communities at different levels. We've trained stakeholders from the traditional leaders to the NCWS leader, to the Farmers Association, to the MAGBA group, all of them together to understand the importance of giving us intelligence reports as soon as they get it.
Let me understand something now. You're talking about getting.
Okay, a farmer reported to us, she painted that her crops.
All right. We're going to play a video of I'm just going to read it actually. One of the victims that were rescued yesterday. I'm going to read this account. It says that Freed Kwara Church attack victim recounts terrifying ordeal in terrorist den. A member of the Christ Apostolic Church from Iroko, Kwara State, who was recently freed from captivity, has narrated the harrowing experience he and others endured. One second, please. There's an issue here. All right, I'm going to start again. A member of the Christ Apostolic Church from Iroko, Kwara State, who was recently freed from captivity, has narrated the harrowing experience he and others endured while held by terrorists in a remote forest. Speaking about the ordeal, the survivor said the abductors made it clear from the onset that escape was impossible due to their strong control of the area. It was unimaginable because when we got there, we really know that it was a dominated area, he said. Even they had to tell themselves that we are bandits, and made us to know that there is no one that can just slip away. And with what we saw, nobody could escape. They knew all the roads surrounding all those bushes within Kwara and other cities. The freed victim described the forest as heavily monitored, with the terrorists boasting about their grip on the terrain and the ability to detect any movement across the surrounding bushes. He said the captives were constantly guarded, leaving them in fear and uncertainty throughout their stay in the camp. A total of 38 victims were abducted from the Iroko CAC on Tuesday, 18th of November, and were released on Sunday, November 23, 2025, amid rising kidnapped rates across the nation. I mean, we're happy that those people were released, but there are questions. I'm not going to lie, I have questions. I'm happy, right, that they have been released. We don't have to go through, talking about 38 people are gone in Kwara State. What are we going to do? So it's beautiful to know that they were able to secure their release. However, the question is, how were they released? For instance, there is no report that the government engaged the bandits in any way. There was no fight. There was no, like, did they just take them and drop them, or was there ransom somewhere in there? I think it's important to be honest. I understand if the government doesn't want to talk about it, but I don't know if this is a win for the security architecture of Nigeria. But this is, of course, a win for the people. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a member of the family. I don't care whether they paid or not. I'm just happy, that they got released. But a lot of people have been talking about the possibility that they actually had to pay DL. 1 second, please. Apologies. We had a little switch. But we're good now. All right. Yeah, so some people have been talking about the fact that they paid ransom, and we don't know we don't know how true that is, but there is something I'd like to play. I want you to listen to. It's actually a video that surfaced earlier today, right? Saying something about the fact that ransom was paid. Give me a second, please. Bro. Okay, take a listen, please.
Days back, bandits attack a village in Sabomblini, Babamnu village in Katsina State. What they did is they kidnapped some villages, took them to the bush. The same way they did in Kwara State. They attacked.
No. This one is for something else. I'm going to play this one later. Sorry. I think I mixed it up. I promised to play this one, but I think I mixed something up. Let me just read the news report from Channels TV. Has something to do with the ransom, so I'm just going to read it as. So it's the headline is Nigerian church official 38 worshippers kidnapped on Tuesday attack, ransom demand made. Government kidnapped 38 worshippers from a church in Kwara State on Tuesday and are demanding a ransom of 100 million naira, roughly $69,000 per worshipper. A church official told Reuters on Friday. So here's the issue. The thing is that people are saying there's a possibility that, this is from November 21, that the government probably paid the kidnappers or the bandits, and that's why they were freed. But here's the issue. Someone asked a question like, when they get all this money, what do they use the money for? And there was an interview recently where Sheikh Gumi was talking about the fact that they're not living in luxury. It's not like they are spending money anyhow. But the question is that where does that money go to? And I think I want us to listen to an interview. I want to layer this thing, right, so that we can make sense of everything. Okay? 1 second. I'm going to play Gumi's interview and then what the other person said. This thing is mixed. Okay, 1 second. How many 1 seconds have I asked for? Did I say my? Okay, let's listen to Gumi first. Take a listen to this short interview, then I'll quickly find. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Take a listen.
Pressure to fight government. We are under pressure to fight government. Government that has helicopters, is bombarding us. So you remove the pressure, the need for the money is there. When you go there, you don't see any luxurious life. You don't see any luxurious life at all. They are living in huts. They have nothing. They drink sometimes from the stream. So I don't think we can say that they are used to a luxurious life that they won't live it. Actually, they don't even know it with all the money they get.
Sheikh, like you said, they are under pressure. Government is bombarding them, and according to what you say, they are saying that it looks like they are under attack. So maybe they're acquiring weapons to protect themselves. But then again, if the pressure is that much, why don't they renounce banditry? And are they also considering the lives of those that they are also taking, and the lives of people that they are also making, unlivable?
Okay, you see, if they leave banditry, they will have source of financing their war machine. The question you asked, why are they fighting them? You see, the herdsman has gone through a lot of hardship. No government has really actually sat down to see into their plight, to modernize them, to even spend anything. Not one kobo of our Nigerian budget goes to them. And now they feel they are...
That field students are not the bandits; they are Boko Haram.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes, really.
And how are you sure of that?
You see, when we try to press them and see whether we can put some sense into them, the contact, who is also a nomadic Fulani, they threatened him. They said, you yourself, you are your money. We are not like you people. If you insist on us, we are going to catch you, and you have to pay ransom before you get out. So you can see that they are different group. And the leader is from Jalingo. It's from Adamawa. It's not the local Fulanis we have here. So it means that northeastern element is coming into this area. And we have to move fast. We don't have time. We don't have luxury of time.
All right, let me ask you.
Let me tell you, I've been trying to speak with government, but nobody is really actually speaking with me on this issue. So people should know that, look, we are trying to pacify. We are trying to remove this, what do you call it, banditry. And they are responding. You only need partners.
Sheikh, actually, you said this before, that headers, these are headsmen, those bandits, they are headsmen that have been pushed into banditry because government is not giving them, the kind of attention that they need. And with due respect, Sheikh, heading is private business, just like every other Nigerian across the country. The man who owns a barber shop, the woman who owns a salon, the woman who owns a restaurant, and everywhere else across the country, everybody suffers for the, socio-economic difficulties within around the Nigerian terrain. So why do you think that the government should take special interest in people who are going about doing their own personal business?
Yes, you see, let me come down to your profession. You are a journalist now. If the government is clamping down on you, catching journalists, not allowing them to speak, I think journalists will come together and try to fight the government back. Trying to do.
You see the position that the Kaduna State...
Oh boy. Okay, so just listen to this other one, please.
You see the position that the Kaduna State government is taking. The Kaduna State governor insists that he will not negotiate with bandits, and he has his reasons. He had negotiated before. He had paid them to leave Kaduna, according to the governor. So what happened in Niger, in Katsina? Negotiations have gone south when it comes to negotiating with bandits, and it seemed like they cannot be trusted because they renege on their promises most of the time. So why are you insisting that the government should again come in?
Okay, let me start first. Now, I and you and everybody are sitting on 5 innocent students who were murdered and killed by these criminals. 5 souls were killed. Why? What amount of money is too big for us to save the lives of those 5 students? What amount of money? Secondly, we can give them the money, we get the boys out of danger, then go after our money. Nobody is saying that you should not fight them, but you can get the 2 back. But to say you will not negotiate with them, then also you will not take any action against them, and this is, I can't understand that.
To be honest, think about all of this, right? You have people, you don't know if they are trying to broker peace or if they're actually supporting, because maybe they're not supporting, but it looks like they are. For instance, oh, the gun has not given them anything, therefore they are going on rampage, they are destroying places and killing people. Therefore, you know, I don't know if when it's time to come up, please, Abdurrahman, I see you in the comment section. Please feel free to come up. I'd like to listen to you. It's funny the way things are going. However, the last thing you said about not negotiating with them, there's a particular guy who went on social media to talk about an incident where instead of people to negotiate with terrorists, they did something that I didn't know that this could have been done like in real life. I would expect this to be a movie. Where apparently it happened somewhere in the north. Take a listen to this guy.
Days back. 3 days back. Bandits attack a village in Sabomblini, Babamnu village in Katsina State. What they did is they kidnapped some villages, took them to the bush. The same way they did in Kwara State. They attack a church and they pick some church members demanding for 100 million each. That amounted to 3.8 billion naira. For how many people? 38 people, a bit 32 people. So this bandit that is no longer sea or end to Nigeria, they went to this village, Babanu village in Sabombilini local government in Katsina State. They decided to kidnap some villagers, then they took him to the bush. So the villagers and some vigilante, they sit together, they say, no, we know those people, we know those bad people. There is no way, no how we go allow this thing to go like this. This is what we are going to do. Let us go to the people, the family of those people, and also kidnap them. They went there, they also picked their brothers and their parents to the bush. So when bandits call for negotiation, they say, oh God, no worry. He don't buy those one for there, we go buy this one this side. Or else, you return our people back, we return your parents and your brothers back to you. You know what happened? Trade by barter occur without any problem. So after 2 or 3 days, those villagers were not willing to release those family members. So bandits, they first of all release those people that they kidnapped first time, giving them 30,000 naira as transport fare to come back to their villages before the villages release their family members back to them. You see, as this equation don't balance, if you know somebody that is your problem, you know the solution to give that person. Now, bandits don't do business. The business not even can work. Now they even can spend money out on top. After kidnapping somebody, demanding for ransom for so days, you discover that your parent and your brothers are still with that person you kidnapped his brother too. So you end up returning the adopted person, giving him 30,000 naira transport. You see, as up there, they come for not now. Sokoto people, Buhari people, na really things they work like this. Nigeria for better now. They update the same.
All right.
Our former president.
So this particular update feels like a movie. The fact that I don't know if you heard everything he said. I know there was a lot of noise in the background. So a group of people were kidnapped by a group of bandits, and the people in the village, they went after the family members of those bandits and kidnapped them as well. And so when the bandits were asking for ransom, when they demanded ransom, they also now said, listen, we have your family members, if you want them, send our people back, then you can get your people. So they had to have a trade by barter, and the bandits ended up giving the people they kidnapped 30,000 naira each as transport fare back home. And so he's saying that perhaps that's the way to deal with this situation. But it sounds like a joke, but the thing I noticed from there is the fact that the people, the bandits are humans, and that they are also known. Interestingly, there was an interview that was granted by the governor of Zamfara State a while back, where he mentioned the fact that they know these people. I'm trying to look for that video. And I think that we need to actually begin to ask some questions in this country. If they know these people, how come nobody's doing anything about it, and this thing is allowed, to spread? But in case you have not heard that, interview before, let me play that so you can hear. 1 second. What's his name again? What was the governor of Zamfara? Zamfara. 1 second, please. It was up. I don't know what happened. Guys, it might be no. Let me look for it on the other device. I just think that if everybody is saying that they know them and they are doing nothing, then it begs the question, what exactly are the people in charge of security doing? Take a listen to the governor of Zamfara State talking while he was talking to Arise News.
We know where these guys are. We know where they live. We know their parents.
You know them as a government?
Of course we do. They live with the same community we live.
So why is it difficult to get them?
That is the $1 million question that I should ask you.
We are trying to understand, for those of us who are now conversant with Zamfara, have never been there, and we hear you as a chief security officer speak tonight to say you know these people, but yet you can't get them. It's a head scratcher.
It is something that we are trying to all put our heads together. That is why, from what I can do as a governor, to have this CPG as a first line of defense. Of course, military are there, police are there, as well as civil defense, but they are not under my control. They are under the control of federal government. And they are, as said.
A lady was on the same channel a while back. She said she had a meeting with the president, and this is what she said the president told her. Take a listen, please.
And sometimes if
Yeah, I said, and Aswaju called me. He says, Hajia, I said, sir. He said, I respect your stance on not accepting the appointment. I said, yes, sir, because I can't be a zombie. I just can't follow you because you said I should follow you. Let me know what you have for us up north. Because if I made a mistake on Buhari, with you, the truth is written on the horizon. So I have to know what you have for us. He said he's in London, that if I can, I should go over. He offered to buy me a ticket. I said, no, sir, I can afford a ticket. And then I took the next Lufthansa to London. I saw him that same night, and we sat. And I said, sir, the reason why I'm not accepting your appointment is because I don't know what you have for us up north. Because in the north, every single person is either waiting to be killed or kidnapped. We can't go on like this. What is your blueprint for us? He told me
can go on like this.
That he doesn't have anything for us. I said, you mean, sir, you don't have a blueprint? He said, I can't have a blueprint because if I have a blueprint, I'll be stepping on too many toes and they might even kill me. This was what he said.
When you get to a particular point and you hear things like this, you wonder what next to do. I think Zulum cracked the code. I don't know if what he's planning to do is the right response, but I think when you don't know anything else to do, you probably have to do this. So Zulum, the governor of Borno, has declared fasting, prayers over resurgence of Boko Haram in Northeast. Someone says, do I trust this lady's speech? I don't know who to trust. I'm just playing what she said. And this is what the governor of Borno State said. Take a listen to him.
Dear citizens of Borno State, I address you today not just as your governor, but as a fellow citizen with a profound sense of patriotism and with every confidence who shares in your anxieties, hopes and desires for a peaceful and prosperous Borno, that the future of our dear state is brighter than ever. For the past 15 years, Borno State has been in the global spotlight owing to the Boko Haram insurgency. This conflict has affected every segment of our society, displacing millions of people across all 27 local government areas and dislocating the socio-economic activities and livelihoods of our people. By the will of God, we were able to overcome those harrowing days of insurgency by uniting as one, setting aside differences of ethnicity, religion, and sectionalism. We rallied behind our armed forces and other security agencies to confront the common enemy, whose aim was to destabilize our state, the Northeast, and the nation as a whole. The relative peace attained in the state has contributed to a promising harvest for this year's farming season. Farmers have been able to cultivate their crops that is expected to sustain them for the next 1 to 2 years. The Borno State government remains committed to supporting farmers with inputs and agrochemicals. The continued support is to ensure year-round farming in order to achieve food sufficiency across the state. Despite the recent sporadic attacks, Borno State has witnessed a reasonable degree of stability. However, the unfolding situation in the state, the nation, and the globe is a matter of great concern to us. Let me commend the people of Borno State for their steadfastness and commitment to the cause of peace. This has demonstrated through relentless prayers, fasting, and continued support for our gallant troops in the front line, the civilian JTF hunters and vigilantes. Indeed, your resilience has been a source of inspiration and strength to me and to the entire administration. As people of faith, we believe our security strategies must be underpinned by prayers. I hereby declare Monday, 24th November 2025 as a statewide day of fasting and prayer for the restoration of peace in Borno State and the country in general. On this day, I call upon every resident of Borno State, regardless of faith, to join in prayer for the lasting peace and prosperity of our beloved state and Nigeria. Consequently, let us therefore devote ourselves to constant prayers, seeking Almighty God's mercy. I also urge...
All right. While they're doing that, Tinubu vows to tackle banditry, restore peace, stability in the North. According to the president, the North has not failed but could fail if leaders retreat from the obligation to be their brother's keeper. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitments to addressing the increasing incidence of banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism in the northern region of the country, asserting that no part will be neglected while his government remains vigilant. President Tinubu made the remarks at the 25th anniversary of the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, in Kaduna on Saturday. Represented by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, Tinubu acknowledged that the North is facing one of the gravest challenges in its history, ranging from a corrosion of security, a collapse of communal ethics, and a distortion of the moral compass that once held its communities together. He admitted that the layers and sophistication of the security crisis inherited by his administration were daunting, but assured that his resolve to end insecurity in the region remains firm and urgent. Tinubu also promised to reverse the long-running economic decline of the North, noting with optimism that the region is on the verge of a major turnaround with the anticipated rollout of crude oil from the coal mining fields and other emerging oil prospects across the region. And that was the president. But more than that, he has also ordered the Nigerian police to withdraw all policemen attached to VIPs. Take a listen to this from Sunday Politics Channels TV. Take a listen, please.
Has ordered the withdrawal of police. President has ordered the withdrawal of police officers guarding VIPs for core police duties. Breaking news right here on China's television. The president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has ordered the withdrawal of police officers guarding VIPs for core police duties. The president, according to him, he says, I'm currently in an extended security meeting with heads of our defense and intelligence apparatus, including the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Inspector General of Police, Director General of the DSS, at the State House. We are reviewing the latest report and taking decisive action to stabilize the affected areas and protect our citizens. I'm receiving continuous briefings and I've directed our security services to move with speed, precision, and absolute resolve. As president, I'm fully committed to the security of all Nigerians. Those who threaten the peace and security of our nation will face the full weight of the law. Nigeria will prevail. Those are the words of President Bola Tinubu today, and after that meeting, he gave a precise order that the police should immediately withdraw the police officers guarding VIPs to now be focused on core police duties. That's a breaking news. President.
Here's the police chief, IGP Egbetokun, speaking on that matter. Take a listen, please.
The president gave direct order that immediately policemen providing VIP protection should be made available to join the forces, combating the... You see, the policemen providing VIP protection presently are to be withdrawn.
IG, you just heard from the chief. What is new coming from the Nigerian police to really give momentum to this fight against insecurity?
Yeah. Okay. This emergency meeting of the service chief with the Inspector General of Police with Mr. President is to review recent incidents of abduction of school children in Kebbi and in Niger, an attack on vulnerable communities. Mr. President took briefings from all of us, and he's satisfied with our efforts so far. He's particularly happy with the recent development in Kwara, where all the 38 abducted victims from a church have all been rescued and reunited with their families. Mr. President went further to give orders to us, orders which include the immediate action to free the police from VIP protection and provide more men for the ongoing fight against...
What do you mean? What do you mean about the VIP protection?
Yeah, what I mean is that Mr. President gave direct order that immediately policemen providing VIP protection should be made available to join the forces, combating the... You see, the policemen providing and they are to complement the ongoing efforts against criminalities.
Presently, we are receiving very good, positive news from that, from Kwara State, where the entire 38 people that were abducted have been reunited with their families. And progress is also made from Niger State, whereby we have about 51 of those students that have now reunited with their families. For Kebbi State, efforts are also yielding positive results. Progress is being made substantially in that aspect.
Chief, sir, we just heard from the minister. What can you tell us about the motivation, the encouragement you've got from Mr. President?
Yeah, thank you very much. If you recall what the happenings in our country currently, and the fact that Mr. President actually cancelled his trip to the AU and the G2 summit in South Africa, to focus on the issues back at home. And we're just coming out from the situation room currently, whereby the president actually chaired that meeting and also brief him on some of the things that have been happening since these unfortunate incidents have happened in the country.
All right. Information overload. I hope I don't get to that point, but I think it's better to talk about all those things. The senator representing Abia constituency, federal constituency in Aba, I think it's a senator, yeah? Senator, yes. Senator Ojuzokalu, he had an exchange with Channels TV on this matter, and this is what he had to say. Take a listen, please.
This is a population of almost 300 million people. We are not 250 million.
Why is this government and your party so sluggish about what you promised Nigerians? Part of the renewed hope agenda promise of President Bola Tinubu to Nigerians is that he was going to get more boots on the ground. How much of these boots on the ground have we gotten? Nigeria is highly under-policed.
No, let me tell you, Sean, we cannot force anybody to join the Nigeria police force. We have advertised. Did you apply?
I have a job here.
Yes, and those people you are talking also feel they're having a job somewhere else. So we are doing everything possible. President Tinubu is having sleepless night every day about Nigeria. And I can assure you that things will get better.
There seems to be some disappointment in some quarters. That some of
I don't know why someone did not apply. It should have applied. Anyway, that was funny to me. While all this is going on, the United States has demanded the immediate release of Sunday Jackson as part of conditions to begin military partnership. This is from People's Gazette. United States federal lawmaker Riley Moore has called for the release of a Nigerian citizen, Sunday Jackson, who was convicted of culpable homicide and sentenced to death by hanging for killing an armed herdsman who violently attacked him on his farmland. Mr. Moore, speaking in an interview on Fox News, revealed that there was a positive discussion during the recent meeting between the U.S. government and a Nigerian delegation led by National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. The meeting with the Nigerian delegation was productive, and it sounded like they are open to partnering with the United States to stop these killings. I think we did make some progress. That's from Mr. Moore. He added, He added, but there's a lot of things they can do, and one of the first steps is releasing Sunday Jackson, and another one is working with us to disarm these militants in the middle belt of the country, the Fulani Islamic radicals that are there. In 2015, Mr. Jackson, a 29-year-old farmer and student from Dong community in the Demsa local government area of Adamawa State, was working on his farm in Kodomti Numan local government area when Buba Ardo Bahuro, a herdsman, drove his cattle onto the farm to feed on his crops. When challenged by Mr. Jackson, the herdsman pulled out a knife and stabbed the farmer twice. However, a wounded Mr. Jackson was able to seize the knife and stab Mr. Bahuro in return. The herdsman later died from his wounds. The police arrested and tried Mr. Jackson for culpable homicide at the Yola High Court in Adamawa State. The charge carries a death sentence under Section 211 of the Penal Code in northern Nigeria. Following his arraignment in court, Mr. Jackson admitted that his attacker died at his hands, but he maintained his innocence of any crime. The prosecution urged the trial judge, Fatima Ahmed Tafida, to convict Mr. Jackson based on his confession, but the farmer's lawyer countered, praying the court to discharge and acquit his client because he acted in self-defense. In February 2021, the judge ruled that because Mr. Jackson had confessed to killing the herdsman, he too must die by hanging. That makes no sense to me. The farmer's self-defense claim was worthless to the judge, who said he could have fled the scene after disarming the herdsman. Anyway, the U.S. is now demanding the immediate release of that man, Sunday Jackson. And I hope that he's released, because, I mean, what should he have done? Allow someone to kill him? So, yeah. Anyway, the Special Advisor, Media and Public Communication and spokesperson to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu put out this release earlier today. Read out of Secretary of War. I mean, this thing is long, but I'm just going to read a very short part of it. Secretary of War Pitt Exeth meeting with Federal Republic of Nigeria National Security Advisor Mr. Malam Nuhu Ribadu on November 21, 2025. Assistant to the Secretary of War for Public Affairs and Senior Advisor Sean Purnell provided the following readout. On November 20, Secretary of War Pete Exeth welcomed a delegation of security leaders from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, led by the National Security Advisor, Mr. Malam Nuhu Ribadu, to the Pentagon. Both leaders discussed ways to make tangible progress on stopping violence against Christians in Nigeria and combating West African jihadist terrorist groups. Secretary Exeth emphasized the need for Nigeria to demonstrate commitment and take both urgent and enduring action to stop violence against Christians, and conveyed the department's desire to work by, with, and through Nigeria to deter and degrade terrorists that threaten the United States. That's from Sunday Dari, the spokesman to the president. While all this was going on, another group put something out yesterday. They are Muslims, and they are saying that they also are being killed. I'd like you to listen to their own side of the story as well. Take a listen, please.
And slaughtered without mercy on 14th of August 2021. A traveler that started their journey from the house of the prominent Islamic scholar Sheikh Dahir Usman Bauchi on their way traversing Plateau State, Ondo State. We stand here today to mount, but we also stand here to speak the truth boldly, because silence is a betrayal. These, we are not criminals. These, we are not fighters. These, we are Muslim on a lawful journey. We are children, fathers, friends, and of course husbands, brothers, cut down by the hands that had no respect for God, humanity and justice. They were being killed, they were being slaughtered by the Christian youth of Plateau State. They were innocent travelers, they don't know Plateau State. What brought them to Plateau is just for them as traversing Plateau from Bauchi State to Ondo State. But what is even more painful here, what pieces our heart like a knife, is that while we are still grieving some people with a loud mouth and heart, the people that don't have conscience, are spreading lies, shouting Christian genocide, as if these 22 innocent travelers we are not human beings. Let it be known today, those shouting Christian genocide are not seeking justice. They are seeking attention, chaos, and propaganda. They are loud, but they are not truthful. They are dramatic, but they are not sincere. They talk about humanity, yet they ignore the humanity of our 22 victims, innocent travelers that are traversing Plateau, that lost their lives within a minute by the Christian youth of Plateau State of Nigeria. We are tired of people who twist every tragedy into a stage play, every cause into a particular microphone, every crisis into an opportunity to show we are the only victims. No, it's enough for this manipulation. Victims have no religion. Pen has no tribe. Blood is red, whether you are Muslim or you are Christian. Those who weaponize religion for lies are the real threat to peace. They are the real enemies of peace in Nigeria. They are the real enemies of peace in northern part of the country. Today, we call for justice. Today, as a Muslim concerned, from Plateau State, we call for justice. Real justice, not a selective justice, not an emotional justice, not a propaganda justice. Justice based on truth. To our leaders, security agencies, the federal government, we use this opportunity to call upon the attention of our federal government, Plateau State government, the security agency, the United Nations, and the America, that we are seeking for justice for these people that were being killed, innocent, without committing any crime. The life.
All right. Oh boy, it is well with Nigeria. And may God bless the president, and may God give him wisdom, because this thing is plenty. He needs all that wisdom, all the wisdom he can get from God, because, man, everywhere you turn, there's something. It's crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Let's leave this whole thing for a bit and visit SERAP. SERAP is a non-profit organization, is non-partisan, and they took the federal government to court, and now the court has ordered the president and the government to publish names of those indicted in NDDC 6 trillion naira misappropriation. I'm going to read the full news from Sahara Reporters. Court orders the Tinubu government to publish names of those indicted in NDDC 6 trillion naira misappropriation. A federal high court sitting in Abuja in a landmark judgment has ordered President Bola Tinubu to direct the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to widely publish the names of those indicted in the alleged misappropriation of over 6 trillion naira meant to implement the abandoned 13,777 projects and the running of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) between 2000 and 2019. According to the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP), in a statement on Sunday, the court also ordered the president to publish and make available to the public the NDDC Forensic Audit Report submitted to the federal government on September 2, 2021. SERAP noted that the judgment was delivered on Monday, November 10 by Justice Gladys Olotu, following a Freedom of Information suit with number FHCABJCS 1360-2021 filed by the organization. The certified true copy of the judgment was obtained last Friday. In a judgment, Justice Olotu held the forensic audit report of the Niger Delta Development Commission, as well as the names of the persons indicted therein, clearly fall within the definition of public records as contained in Section 31 of the Freedom of Information Act. Long and short is that the government should publish the names of those indicted in NDDC misappropriation. I'm going to bring you up when it's time, please. I just want to read everything. When you come up, you pick the one you want to talk about, then we'll talk to you on that one, okay? That's the only way I can have this conversation. Abi, we can have some form of order, I meant. Number. All right, this is the governor of Katsina, Diko Umar Rada, and the governor of Zamfara, Dauda Lawal Dare. When an interview, when they said some things about this whole issue that we're having with terrorists and bandits in different parts, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, take a listen to the issue is that now outside and they talk, so you may not even understand what they're saying. But the point is that I give an example from Katsina, where a villager who was arrested had been given 700,000 naira by terrorists as a bribe or some form of payment, and shortly afterward 30 people were brutally killed in that village. And in that interview with VOA, governors of Katsina, Diko Umar Rada, and Zamfara, Dauda Lawal Dare, stated that the security challenges in the northwest have gone far beyond what anyone initially imagined. They stressed that there is no language, tribe, or type of person that is not involved in this insecurity. It has become a complex mix of actors and motives. I think around this period we need to begin to ask for state police and autonomy, so that we don't have to wait for federal government to protect every part of the country. Since it's so complex, let's make it easy for us to protect the people. Before we go on, before we bring people up, a few more things I want to quickly touch on. We know that there was a sentencing was it Thursday, Friday, thereabout. It was on Friday, right? It was on Friday. So people have, we know now, of course, that, what's his name now? Nnamdi Kanu has removed to Sokoto. His lawyer, or shall I say his consultant, went to visit him in Sokoto, and he had this to say. Take a listen, please.
My people, this is Sokoto. I've been in this town for since 2 days now. Today is the 23rd day of November. I came to see Nnamdi Kanu. I have been with him since yesterday, so we have been discussing. So he's in Sokoto Correctional Center here. And what we are asking now is this. Somebody whose appeal is in Abuja, and they're putting him in Sokoto. And if you want to file some processes, would the federal government made a private jet available for him to take him to Abuja. After filing his process, they take him back. So that is another issue that is giving us concern, because the place of jurisdiction where he's going to do his appeal is in Abuja. And it's on record that all the filings that he has been doing it by himself in Court of Appeal Abuja Division. So there are some things that he needed to file there, including affidavit. He cannot do it. Everybody is frustrated. We are handicapped. So we are now looking for the next line of action on what to do. The meanwhile, at least for the first time, I have seen him. He's to confirm that he's in a Sokoto prison here. So I will be leaving to Abuja now. Then thereafter, I'll keep you people updated. Thanks and God bless you. Well done.
All right, that was Maxwell Okpara, one of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, and while he is hoping to get a private jet from who I don't know, perhaps from, I don't know. Let me just leave it there. I'm seeing Elon Musk in the comment section. May God bless you guys. But while Maxwell is talking about private jets, his colleague, Aloy Ejimako, had this to say to BBC. Take a listen, please.
Praying and hoping, and we worked very hard for acquittal. Not because he no get lawyer, now he make the judge convict him. No. So whether you bring 10 lawyers, 10 senior advocates of Nigeria, or whether you bring 1 or you bring 100, they go still do them as they like. Anybody we like Nnamdi Kanu and we believe say no do anything to warrant the kind thing where happened to them yesterday, that person, if you know they cry outside, they go they cry inside. But another thing why I go tell you, we say, you get as this case come, they go at some point. We can't hold meeting. We can't say, you get how this case they go. It be like say they don't predetermine the outcome. We don't know who predetermine them, or we know no talk say that judge predetermine them. So for this Nnamdi Kanu case, we can't suspect say they don't make up their mind too. Sometimes they say everything is strategy, and advice where we give them for secrecy, no be and why go come they talk for camera. So it be like say everybody can decide say he go carry less risk. Make it no be like say we be undertaker. Now lawyer carry and go slab. Now lawyer carry and go the person where they do an injury. And he too, he agree. Everybody agree. Say that defense where he go give himself and be the best. And luckily for us, the man no book. He dey learn quick. The only thing we remain for was Nnamdi Kanu and law degree. And if he go law school, na first he go carry. He don't understand law well. Better pass some lawyer self. I been the talker, say the case pass judicial, it pass legal. That case now for political matter. It be political matter. If you carry and go court, you go pass every judge. A pass that judge, this Nnamdi Kanu case, a pass court. Now case for President Tinubu na go settle am. So now today we can double up, come hurry, get the CTC of the judgment. CTC means certified true copy. You cannot go on appeal without getting that CTC. For Monday, we don't knock for court of appeal door. If we no do them for Monday, Tuesday, no go pass.
Apparently, it doesn't take too much to become a lawyer these days. Just have a lot of books in your armpit and ask the judge, show me, or tell the judge, show me in the law, and tell him you don't know law. Once you can say that like 10 times, you can become a lawyer. Nigeria is blessed, because the kind of thing where they hear these days, now they go for your boss. Anyway, while he was saying that a lot of people had different things to say about what's happening, or what happened to Nnamdi Kanu. Some of them are abroad, some of them are here in Nigeria, and one of those who wanted to say something, I mean, a young lady went out, I think it's in the UK or US, I can't tell, but went out, right, to ask people what they think or what they thought about the sentencing. I'd like to take a listen to their reactions. All right, so please take a listen to their reactions.
Of Nnamdi Kanu, do you think it was a fair? How do you feel about the sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think it was a fair verdict, or do you think they would have been lenient in some sort of way?
To be honest with you, when I saw this news here, I was devastated. I cannot picture what he has done to deserve that kind of sentencing. It's not as if they caught this guy with weapons or something like that. Even the way they brought him back to Nigeria, it was uncalled for.
Do you think it was a fair verdict?
The injustice was very present in Nnamdi Kanu's case. The way he was abducted, wrongfully convicted, Justice Omotosho ignored. It was quite shocking. People have done 10 times worse. Even our former President Buhari violently said that Nigeria will go on flame, blood will spill. Nobody asked him any questions. The government of Buhari judged that government. That man wrecked that country.
The sentencing was very, very harsh. Yeah, Nigeria being Nigeria. The conspiracy was just way too high. Definitely, everybody can see what's happening. It's just sad.
It was, I feel so sad. I feel like crying. They made my day so bad. It wasn't a good one. The judge didn't do well. Motosho, you didn't do well. They just concluded, because giving somebody that is innocent life, it doesn't sound well.
The verdict the judge read was something that was given to him. He didn't prepare it because he wasn't even reading it clearly.
There's not freedom of speech in Nigeria, and it's a very big problem today.
Absolutely.
If anyone speaks out, then you are in trouble. It's either they get you or jail you, and that's what they've done to him.
Some people believe that the outcome would have been entirely different if he was from another tribe. Do you believe this or not?
I think so, to some extent, and this is what Nnamdi Kanu have been saying for a very, very long time. The tribalism in Nigeria is just way too much.
Yeah, because he's an Igbo man, that's why they sentenced him to life. So that's the problem we're facing.
Yeah, because they know the force he has. He seems to be the lion, you know, amongst others. So what they've done is cut off the head of that, you know, taking the crown off the king.
Yeah.
So they know the others, they can easily deal with those ones. They don't have as much balls, you know, compared to Kanu.
What exactly was the crime he committed in the first place that warranted his arrest?
To me, there's no crime he committed. He went to Kenya. They kidnapped him in Kenya and brought him to Nigeria. And since then, they've been maltreating him up to today.
This was something he said with his mouth. It was just only spoken.
It
was verbal. So me, I don't really know what else they're not telling us. Unless there's something they're not telling us. But if it's just for spoken words, you cannot give a man's life in prison just for spoken words.
Regardless of anything, even though he was responsible for that, but life for him is
preposterous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Instead of the president to address the major issue in the country, he decided to use this Nnamdi Kanu to cause a lot of distraction.
What is one thing you want to say now to Nigerians watching the justice system fall apart?
It's not even about justice, it's about security. Our Taiwan Southwest is coming to us because we're turning a blind eye, we're turning a deaf ear because it's happening that until day south turn. After Ilorin is Osogbo. After Osogbo is Ibadan. After Ibadan,
Lagos.
Otideko.
Yeah.
God continue to keep us safe.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. How do you...
Right, the final guy is Yoruba. He's talking. He's saying that he's more concerned about the security issue, and he has a point, by the way. We've been talking about that all day, right? But I heard this guy did not do anything. But then I'm wondering, is it because these guys are abroad? You know, maybe they are far away. Maybe that's why they're sounding, you know, like that, and saying, "Oh, it's because he's able." By the way, you don't expect folks who have. Oh boy, traveling abroad means nothing, no. When it comes to the way people's mind work. She didn't ask the Yoruba guy, but no, she didn't ask the Yoruba guy if it was based on ethnicity. I don't know why she didn't, or maybe she did, and the guy did not give her the answer she wanted, and so we don't have it here. Anyway, folks abroad had this to say, talking about the fact that the reason they sentence him is because he's Igbo. These guys living abroad, though. That's why, you know, it was the Archbishop Benson Dausa who said a lizard in Nigeria cannot become an alligator in America. Is right. If you are a dunce before you left, most likely you're going to be just another American dunce when you get there. It doesn't change. So if you have the victim mindset before you left Nigeria, you also have that in America. You just have to say it in another accent. That's all, right? But that victim mood goes everywhere. But maybe that's just American, you know. Maybe we don't have that kind of thing at home. Maybe people have changed. So AIT decided to go on the streets of Imo State, talk to Igbo elders about this particular thing. And I just want to note, I want you to, let's watch this or listen together and see if there's a difference between what the folks in Imo State are saying, you know, and what the folks, you know, overseas are saying. Take a listen to this.
They hate the Igbos. It as a tribal. The Yorubas and the Hausas, they hate the Igbos because that is an adoption. He was adopted from Kenya to here. He's not supposed to be judged. The judgment is supposed to go to Kenya. They just judge it here because it has an Igbo man. Nothing we can do. And they have done their wish.
I'm not happy. I can say that the Yorubas, they hate Igbos. They hate us. And they don't want to hear anything Biafra. That's why they put that judgment like that. They want to silence Biafra.
Don't warrant it. So many have killed people, killed the soldiers in the north, but they are going free. So what do you want us to do?
I didn't expect it at all. Didn't expect it. Because in the previous judgments, he's been set free. Now, what he was asking was that, what is the law for the judgment? What is it based on? That was his question. What was the basis of his, which law are they competing on? So that is, I'm not happy about it.
Government that have done the judgment, so everything is best known by the federal government.
Of course, if it need be that he should appeal, then he should go ahead and appeal.
Yes, it's bias. So they didn't rule the thing the way it's supposed to, where the thing is supposed to be. Try now for Supreme Court now.
We then take the trial to Supreme Court. I thought it was appeal, like maybe he made a mistake. Dear Lord. Apparently, whether you're home or abroad, the thinking is the same. It's because people hate Nnamdi Kanu. Yoruba people hate him. Hausa people hate him. It's not because he did anything wrong. It's just because he's hated. And of course, this makes no sense, but it's what you hear. And I play these things just to help us understand that it's a cultural thing. It's not about people's actions. It's more about the culture of the people, not just the actions that you see. But I think it's important for me to play something from the former President Buhari on this matter, because some people mentioned his name and said, oh, he did this is because they hate him and things like that. Listen to Buhari talk about this particular issue. Take a listen, please.
And the one we are calling Kanu, do you know he has 2 passports? One Nigerian, one British, and he came to this country without using any passport. Do you know he brought an equipment into this country, a sophisticated equipment, and was broadcasting for Radio Biafra? Which kind of government do you want to have?
But we wrote an editorial against him in Premium Times.
What?
Premium Times wrote editorial against his radio station and called on the federal government to stop that.
So he should be given bail to go away. There's a treasonable felony against him, and I hope the court will listen to the case.
So, these are things that I think people should... Okay, sorry, I want to read the counts, yeah. Why was it sent to prison? And I think it's important that we remind ourselves this thing. Somebody, I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend, and the person said, oh, look at this person, is ISIS, and he went to court. By the way, there was a guy that was an ISWAP that was sentenced to jail by an Igbo judge, recently, 20 years. I didn't hear anybody from the north say is Igbo versus North or Igbo versus Hausa. So the person was asking, why was that 20 years and this one was life imprisonment? I was like, so what's the charge, right? And the person couldn't say much about that. But I think it's important to quickly read out the charges. 1 second. In Nnamdi Kanu's case. I'm going quickly from Telegraph. Justice Omotosho imposed life imprisonment on counts 1, 4. Let me go back a bit. Delivering judgment on Thursday, Justice James Omotosho held that the prosecution proved its case beyond reasonable doubt, convicting Kanu on several counts related to terrorism, incitement, membership of a proscribed organization, and threats against diplomatic missions. Justice Omotosho imposed life imprisonment on counts 1, 4, 5, and 6. He also sentenced Kanu to 20 years imprisonment on count 3 and 5 years on count 7 with no option of fine. All sentences are to run concurrently. The judge ordered that Kanu be kept in a secure facility. And I want to see, there's a list of those, counts. 1 second. I want to read out those specific counts. Okay. There's something wrong here. There's a document I had. Oh, sorry, I remember now. By the way, I just remember something now. There is a document I uploaded on the Telegram channel. If you haven't read the judgment itself and you are interested, please, you find it in that in the Telegram channel, Redomi Global. It's a 104-page document. It's not as big as it sounds. The font size and the spacing, if you put everything together, is not that much, but it's called Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Nnamdi Kanu. By the way, somebody was in the comment section, when Adakaboro was sentenced to be tried by the Igbo judges, was not a tribe. Yeah, when it was Ojukwu and Ironsi ensuring that Adakaboro was convicted, nobody said it was, Ijo versus Igbo. It is what it is, I guess. So I was going to read the count. Let me just quickly read the count for you. This is from the document I said in the Telegram channel. Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Nnamdi Kanu. Count 1, that you, Nnamdi Kanu, male adult of Afaranoko Ibeku, Umuahia North Local Government Area of Abia State, sometime in 2021, being a member and the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a proscribed organization, did commit an act in furtherance of an act of terrorism against the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria by making a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria within the jurisdiction with intent to intimidate the population, and you threaten that people will die, the whole world will stand still, and you thereby committed an offense punishable under Section 1(2)(b) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act. So the first one was about the broadcast. Second one had to do with this, that he made a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria with intent to intimidate the population. He issued a deadly threat that anyone who flouted the sit-at-home order should write his or her will. As a result, banks, schools, markets, shopping malls, fuel stations domiciled in the eastern states of Nigeria were not open for businesses, citizens and vehicular movements. So I'm just looking at what they saw around Los Angeles. Number one is the broadcast. By the way, somebody said just talking. Even Peter Obi said he was just talking. And I think we forget. A lot of us talk about Hutus and Tutsis, what happened in Rwanda. Everything started on radio. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons I'm also quite measured when we have these conversations here on social media. What happened in Rwanda began on radio. I mean, people had issues, of course, relationship issues like with other ethnicities and other, ethnic groups and all that. But the actions, what's the word now? What motivated the actions that we saw was actually somebody broadcasting stuff on radio. So I think words do matter, and that's why we should be very measured when we have these conversations. When you say people are cockroaches, it means that you can just, deal with them and move them anyhow. When you start inciting violence, people say just saying anything. Nobody caught anything in his hands. Let me ask you a question. If you go back in time right now and you saw the person broadcasting that stuff from, radio booth or radio station in Rwanda, would you tell the person to stop, or would you arrest that person, or would you say, oh, let's leave the person alone? After all, he's not holding a gun. Whatever you think is fine. It's fine. Anyway, he talked about the sit-at-home. Count 3 had to do with the fact that he's a member and leader of a proscribed organization. Yeah. Number 4 says he incites members of the public in Nigeria to hunt and kill Nigerian security personnel. Number 5 says he incited members of the public in Nigeria to hunt and kill families of Nigerian security personnel. Again, oh boy, anti-Zimbabwe, wow. Count 6, he directed members of IPOB, a proscribed organization, to manufacture bombs, and therefore committed an offense punishable under Section 1(2)(f) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act. Count 7, he brought in a radio transmitter known as Tram 50L, concealed in a container of used household items, which he declared as used household items, and thereby committed an offense. So these are the 7 count charges, right? And to be honest, right, what I understand about life, and I learned this thing as a student in uni. One day, we're driving into school, and you have these grasses. My school is known for horticulture and architecture. So these people were, tending to the grass and flowers and stuff. I just thought about it. I was a 100 level student. I was a year 1 student, and I was like, these people are doing a lot of work, but the person if anything happens in this school right now, the person they're going to be talking about is a VC. If you think that the foot soldiers are the only ones that should be dealt with, I don't think you really understand how life works. The leader who sits and tells them do this is actually more culpable than the person who carries guns to do it. Both of them are culpable, but he's the one issuing the orders. And I think it's important for people to begin to learn the concept of accountability, but I don't think it's actually a very cultural thing in the southeastern part of Nigeria, but everybody will be all right. Talking about accountability, something happened in the southwest, I think it was in Ibadan, some days ago, and I think we should also begin to speak on things like this. 2 things happened. One is the meeting of the governors to discuss security. It was a closed-door emergency security meeting in Ibadan. I'm going to talk about that later. The first one I want to talk about is actually a group of Muslims, or Sheikh Gumi actually, was invited to Ibadan. Sorry, 1 second. All right, Shegumi was invited to Ibadan and became like the cause of many crazy stuff. Let's listen to the sheikh and then listen to an imam respond to what happened or respond to the event. Can you hear me? Someone says, Mike, can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. I think somebody can't hear me. Shengbomi. Okay, thank you. All right, this is Shegumi at the event in the southwest. Take a listen, please.
Because this woman is a white woman. I'm very pleased with all the speakers. Even though I don't understand Yoruba, but I can understand from the vibration of the voices of the speakers that we are seeing the same thing. On misrepresentation and misconstruing facts, I can now understand the Muslims in the Southwest, what have been enduring and going through. Because I can say now in Nigeria, if you are a fan of social media, whenever you hear Buni, then I have a barrage of missiles coming at me. All because of mispresentation. My dear brothers, you are all ulama. And you are more likely to understand. We found ourselves in an eye of the storm of insecurity which we are discussing, and we found the reason. The basic reason is what all these evident prophets have been saying. Lack of education, unemployment. These are the two evils. So when I understand that our herdsmen are suffering from this too, you can imagine now, if we select maybe 10 people here, keep them with the cows alone, there's no communication with the outside world of civilization. Come back in 1 year and see how these 10 representatives will be.
You know, when Shegumi speaks, he talks like he has found the problem, but that it's on us to look for solutions. If you say your people are not going to school and they're not being educated, what are you going to do about it? The answer doesn't have to be the federal government. There has to be a point where we talk about governors, religious leaders of the people in their local spaces, you know, taking responsibility for how people actually get engaged. All these things about there's no work and stuff, I don't understand. But then he also says that, you know, anytime he goes to meet with the bandits, he's always accompanied by police and government officials, so he's not just doing it by himself and things like that. Anyway, while he was doing that, you know, explaining himself and the work he has been doing, another imam in Yoruba land, I'll get his name later. I just forgot now. I'll get his name later. He had this to say on this whole matter. He's also a Muslim. Take a listen to this.
tí ìlú òun bá lè parẹ́ kọ́ parẹ́ ẹ̀sìn tó ń gbé mi ọ̀gbọ́dọ̀ parẹ́ ànábì gbọ́n jù nílò ànábì òṣèlú ẹ̀ ọ̀tá mi tó bá sáwọlé ẹ̀ lọ mi ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kí n fọwọ́ kàn án kèfèrí làbúsù fìyà nù gbà náà kí ló dé tà ànábì ọ̀hún ọmọ gàjí ìlú ẹ̀ kí ló dé tó ọ̀nà ọba ìlú ẹ̀ kí ló dé tà ànábì ọ̀nà ìlú ẹ̀ kẹ̀kẹ̀kẹ̀ kí ní ìsẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ ṣe ìgbèrè tẹ̀ wá bìlífù pé bí ìlú yín bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ bí ìlú yín bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ kẹ́sì ọlọ́wọ́ sàmọ́ bàjẹ́ ẹ ṣì rè ni ẹ fẹ́ mẹ́sìgì ànábì lọ ni bí Saudi bá sẹ̀sì bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wí ni Saudi Arabia ò ní bẹ́ẹ̀ dì gbogbo àwọn neighboring countries ti Saudi Arabia bàjagun tí ẹ jẹ́ Lárúbáwá sí ẹ sọ fún yín pé ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn ní ẹ jáde ni ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ má ba ìlú mi jẹ́ ni Saudi gbé jáde ó gbé jáde ó finish wọn nígbà orí gbàgbàrò wọn ọ̀fẹ́ ká ìránù ó gbé Amẹ́ríkà mọ́ra máa bá àwọn ẹjúmọ́ yẹn ìránù ọmọ bàbí lásìjẹ sí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn ní àǹfààní ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú ni aláwọ̀ di ẹni tí ò fẹ́ràn ìlú ẹ̀ aláwọ̀ di ẹni tí ò fẹ́ràn rẹ̀ ẹni tí ò fẹ́ràn rẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá da ogun lẹ̀ bílù yìí bá bàjẹ́ sẹ́yìn lérò pé Saudi Arabia ọgbà yìí láàyè níbo sẹ́yìn lérò pé àwọn north wọ́n gbà pé mùsùlùmí gidi nìyí ni mélòó yín ló lè kírun fún wọn tí wọ́n tó lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ mélòó yín ni wọ́n gbà kó lè kó àwọn níké mélòó yín ni wọ́n gbà kó ní imani mélòó yín ni wọ́n gbà pé mùsùlùmí gidi ni ẹ̀yin wá dúró lórí pé bí ìran yín bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ ẹ wá ń gbé àwọn agbódegbà ẹ ń gbé wọn wọlé ẹ wá ní àwọn pariwo nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tí wọ́n ti pariwo láìmọye ìgbà pé ẹ lọ gbogbo gbòòrò ilẹ̀ Yorùbá gbogbo ẹni tí ń ṣe ọ̀kadà nígboro wọ́n ń ṣe Yorùbá 90% wọn náà ti ní ẹ ti wá àwọn náà ti sì máa ń trust ara wọn tẹ́ bá fẹ́ lọ accord gbogbo àdúgbò ni wọ́n mọ̀ gbogbo léèyàn ńláńlá ni wọ́n mọ̀ ní access wọ́n mọ̀ iye ẹni tí ń gbénu estate àwọn tí ń kọ̀ kadà tẹ̀lé yẹn wọ́n wá sí Yorùbá náà tánà ni wọ́n nítorí ogun bá wá dé bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lè sápò nígboro bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ́yìn ìlú ẹ bá wọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ti ta kínní ní màálù wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ìbò lókun tí wọn Yorùbá gbà ìgboro tẹ́kùn lẹ́ control ni àwọn Ìgbò ti ra gbogbo ìgboro tán ibẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tí wàá wà mọ́ ni pé no báyé bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ kẹ́sìn ọlọ́run máa bàjẹ́ ọ́sẹ̀sìn ọlọ́run ní space ni sí ẹ sọ fún ẹ pé wọ́n yòrò easy láti kí space ni àbí wà wà láì nílà ká ìwò lè ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ torí nǹkan kan ju torí owó lọ ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ bó ṣe já ẹran abèèwọ̀ tó yẹn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ àmà pè ní Yorùbá.
We're going to continue listening to him. I just got his name. His name is Imam Akeugba Gold. Here's the second part of the video. Take a listen, please.
ẹ wo bí Kùránì ṣe gbé ẹ wo bẹ́yìn ṣe gbé ṣé Kùránì tẹ̀mí ká ní akọ́lẹ̀ yẹn ká ní Kùránì ojú ogun lẹ́yìn ká nígbà tá a bára wa já Kùránì gbà rọrùn lèmi ń kà lásìkò rọrùn níjó dàbí ẹni pọ́tọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ ní tàǹkà ọ̀tọ̀ láyà ojú ogun ọ̀tọ̀ láyà àgbà ọ̀kan balẹ̀ mo ti sọ láì mọye ìgbà olórí orílẹ̀ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ló ṣẹlẹ̀ táwọn bandits tí wọ́n dà lùi kí president wa fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ kó wa ní ẹgẹ́ bí nǹkan tí agbódegbà àwọn bandits tó wí o ọ̀rẹ́ wa Gúnmi àbíkí náà ń pè é ẹgẹ́ bí nǹkan tó sọ ẹ dákun ẹ bá dé àwọn bandits ẹsẹ̀ wọn pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́ o never ntí ó sọ ni pé destroy every one of them ẹ kó wọn kó lẹ̀ bolórí ṣe é wíwú ni ló mú àyà Kùránì tó fi sọ̀rọ̀ ogun lásìkò ogun ó sọ̀rọ̀ fọkànbalẹ̀ lásìkò kànbalẹ̀ ẹ wá dákun ẹ̀yin tẹ́ gbé bàbá agbódegbà tẹ́ gbé wá l'Íbàdàn ẹ̀yin náà láàbí léèrè o are we safe ṣe é sọ pé ká fọkànbalẹ̀ ká lọ sùn ká fọwọ́ sí pílò ẹni ó jí panla kọ̀bárọ̀ o ẹni ó fapáya ẹni abápá lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ òun ló fapáya o ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ló ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ẹ̀rí ti dé evidence tí ò rújú kí ló jọ payẹ́ pọ̀ ibo lẹ ti jọ rìn bẹ́ẹ̀ yàn bá jẹ́ni tí wọ́n ti jọ ní connection tipẹ́tipẹ́ o kò easy láti gbé èèyàn láti north wá south west láì jẹ́ pé connection kan ti wà láàrin wọn. àti pé irú èèyàn bí ìpínlẹ̀ ìgbìyànjú bọ́mọ líle bá dé ìlú kan ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọmọ líle ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀ ní ọ̀wọ̀ sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni eré bá wọ̀ ìlú kan ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ẹni rí ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀ ní ọ̀wọ̀ sí. ṣé káfọkànbalẹ̀ are you assuring us of our safety? kí ló fà tí mo fi wí bẹ́ẹ̀ Al-Qur'an kan sọ wípé ẹni tí wọn bá ṣàbòsí fún Ọlọ́run ò deny rẹ̀ láriwo sáà safe ṣé gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá safe kí ló jẹ́ wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ lọ wò tán ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àbá wà ní Yorùbá country lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí àbá ti wà Nàìjíríà tó bá jẹ́ wípé àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ̀sìn bojú tí wọ́n fi da Old Ọ̀yọ́ empire rú káni wọn yọjú láti da Old Ọ̀yọ́ empire rú gbà yẹn àbá wà ní Yorùbá country tẹ̀sẹ̀sẹ̀ ń jà fún sìn àwọn country tí wọ́n bá bẹ́ẹ̀ tí àwọn òyìnbó bá lórí pé wọ́n maintain empire wọn dórúkọ rẹ̀ dẹ̀ ní láàrin ní Mali empire ó ti lọ Mali country lọ́wọ́ àlẹ́ àtàwọn country bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn yìí náà ní ẹ̀dá àgbo ẹ̀sìn ní àfibójú wọn bá gbé mùsùlùmí bẹ ní Old Ọ̀yọ́ empire wọn tẹ wọ bẹ wọn da Old Ọ̀yọ́ empire wọn fọnra Yorùbá ká forever lẹ́nu wa òfin kò dé ní àwọn èèyàn yìí náà ní wọn fẹ̀sìn bójú wọn wọlé lèmi fi máa ń sọ wípé ẹni tí ò bá sọ pé òun ó sì ẹ̀sìn you must try to know the certain part of political religion politics. There is a difference within religion and politics of religion. Ìyàtọ̀ ń bẹ láàrin ẹ̀sìn àti òṣèlú ẹ̀sìn òṣèlú àti kówó sápò ń bẹ. Àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe bandit ṣe torí Ọlọ́run yẹn fi ṣe ni. Wọ́n ṣe torí Ọlọ́run torí kó lè kó dọ́là pamọ́ ni. Kò sẹ́ni tí nípa wọn ṣe tí ṣe lọ forever. Wọ́n ṣe fúngbà díẹ̀ wọ́n á fi ẹ̀ mass wealth. Wọ́n á kówó jọ àwọn náà dẹ̀ lọ establish síbòmí. Ṣé káwọn jẹun ló kú ta lọ sọ fún yín sẹ́ẹ̀rọ̀ kù rẹ̀ tẹ́ fi gbà kó ti kù. Ó possible kó jẹ́ pé táìmù tiẹ̀ ti expire wọ́n lè change ẹ̀kọ́ bá tiẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ mi kó tó máa lọ báyìí nígbà tẹ́ni kò dẹ̀ ní tó lè fingerprint ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ó possible kó jẹ́ pé orúkọ tiẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀yẹ́kọ́ lórúkọ yìí irú ẹ̀ ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ pọ̀ yẹ láì ẹ bá mi comment, ẹ wá bá mi follow page yìí, Ọlọ́run follow yín lórí òun. Àmín. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nìkan ní gbogbo àgbáyé, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nìkan ni mo mọ̀ tó gbàgbọ́ yìí pé tí ìran òun bá lè parẹ́ kó parẹ́, tí ìlú òun bá lè parẹ́ kó parẹ́, ẹ̀sìn tó ń gbé mi ò gbọdọ̀ parẹ́, ànábì gbọ́n jù yín lọ, ànábì òṣèlú ẹ̀. Ọ̀tá mi tó bá sáwọlé ẹ̀ lọ, mi ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kí n fọwọ́ kan náà. Kèfèrí l'Abu Sufyan gbà náà, kí ló dé tá ànábì ọ̀nà ọmọ gàjí ìlú ẹ̀? Kí ló dé tó ọ̀nà ọba ìlú ẹ̀? Kí ló dé tá ànábì ọ̀nà ìlú ẹ̀ kẹ̀kẹ̀kẹ̀kẹ̀? Kí ni ìsẹ̀yìn tà ìsẹ̀ bìbìrì? Tẹ wá bìlífù pé bí ìlú yín bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́, bí ìlú yín bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́, kẹ́sì ọlọ́wọ́ sá mọ́ bàjẹ́, ẹ ṣí èrè ni. Ẹ fẹ́ mẹ́sẹ̀jì ànábì lọ ni. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bí Saudi bá sẹ̀sìn bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wí yìí ni Saudi Arabia ò ní bẹ́ẹ̀ dì ní. Gbogbo àwọn neighboring countries ti Saudi Arabia bá jagun tí ẹ jẹ́ Lárúbáwá tí ẹ sọ fún yín pé ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn rẹ̀ jáde ni. Ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ má ba ìlú mi jẹ́ ni Saudi gbé jáde. Ó gbé jáde ó finish wọn. Nígbà orí pàgbàrò wọn ọ̀fẹ́ ká Ìránù ó gbé Amẹ́ríkà mọ́ra. Máa bá àwọn ẹjúmọ́ Ìránù ọmọ bàbí lásìjẹ́. Sí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn ní àǹfààní ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú ni. Allah ó di ẹni tí ó fẹ́ràn ìlú ẹ̀. Allah ó di ẹni tí ó fẹ́ràn rẹ̀. Ẹni tí ó fẹ́ràn rẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dá ogun lẹ̀ bílù yìí bá bàjẹ́. Sẹ́yìn lérò pé Saudi Arabia gbà yín láàyè. Níbo sẹ́yìn lérò pé àwọn north wọ́n gbà pé mùsùlùmí gidi ni ni. Mélòó yín ló lè kírun fún wọn tí wọ́n tó lẹ́yìn ẹ̀? Mélòó yín ni wọ́n gbà pé lè kọ́ àwọn ní kéwù? Mélòó yín ni wọ́n gbà pé ní ìmánì? Mélòó yín ni wọ́n gbà pé mùsùlùmí gidi ni? Ẹ̀yin wá dúró lórí pé bí ìran yín bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́. Ẹ wá ń gbé àwọn agbódegbà ẹ ń gbé wọn wọlé. Ẹ wá ní àwọn pariwo nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tí wọ́n ti pariwo láì mẹ́yẹ ìgbà pé ẹ lọ gbogbo gbòòrò ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Gbogbo ẹni tí ń ṣe ọ̀kadà nígboro wọ́n ṣe Yorùbá 90% wọn náà ti yẹn ti wá. Àwọn náà ti sì máa ń trust ara wọn tẹ́ bá fẹ́ lọ accord. Gbogbo àdúgbò ni wọ́n mọ̀. Gbogbo léèyàn ńláńlá ni wọ́n mọ̀. Wọ́n máa gbọ́n kálukú wọlé, wọ́n máa gbọ́n kálukú jáde. Kódà estate tí wọn ò ní access sí, wọ́n máa yẹ ẹni tí ń gbénu estate. Àwọn tí ń kọ̀ kadà tẹ̀lé yẹn, wọ́n wá sí Yorùbá náà tánà ni wọ́n. Nítorí ogun bá wá dé, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lè sápò nígboro, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ́yìn ìlú, ẹ bá wọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ti ta kínní ní màálù wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìbò lókun tí ìran Yorùbá gbà. Ìgboro tẹ́kùnlẹ̀ control ni, àwọn Ìgbò ti ra gbogbo ìgboro tán. Ibẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tí wàá wà mọ́ ni pé no, báyé bá lè bàjẹ́ ó bàjẹ́, kẹ́sìn Ọlọ́run máa bàjẹ́, ọ̀sẹ̀sìn Ọlọ́run ní space ni. Ṣé ẹ sọ fún ẹ pé wọ́n ìrún easy láti kí space ni? Àbí wà àwọn aláìní làákà ìwò lè. Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣe gbogbo ẹni torí nǹkan kan ju torí owó lọ. Ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ bó ṣe já ẹran abèèwọ̀ tó yẹn, ìsìnlẹ̀ máa pè ní ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ àdínì. Ṣé gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n da yẹ́rúlẹ̀ bá rìn lẹ́yìn pé wọ́n lè yàn rí? Àwọn tí wọ́n kírun mọ́sálásí ẹ̀ kàfàrà wọn, ẹ̀sọ́ wọn ti kèfèrí. Àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ ọmọ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ọmọ ìlú yẹn tí wọ́n jẹ́ lẹ́sìn Christianity, ẹ láwọn gangan lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ rí. Ẹlẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ rí àwọn oní traditionalist. Ẹ lọ bá àwọn míì ṣe láwọn tó jẹ́ pé ní ogun bá dé wọ́n identify yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í sára wọn. Èmi orúkọ wọlé ẹ̀ fún mi tán kí irun kí ló tu lára mi. Gbogbo jọ́tẹ̀ tí ń tìtẹ̀ mọ́ mi ò bá dẹ̀ mú lọ òkè. Alhamdulillah kì í sọgbọ́n mi. Tá a bá tètè pariwo bá ìran Yorùbá ogun ti débòde. Wọ́n ti gbàlejò ọ̀ràn àti gbàlejò ọ̀ràn lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ẹ tètè àwọn tí wọ́n gbé àlejò yìí wá ẹ tètè mú wọn. Ẹ máàkì orúkọ wọn dáhùn. Tó bá di pé wọ́n kidnap èèyàn nígboro ẹ tètè mọ̀ wọn. Ẹ̀sìn tí wọ́n gbé dání ó yàtọ̀ sí Islam tiwa. Ọ̀tọ̀ ní Islam tiwa, ọ̀tọ̀ ní Islam tiwa. Nàbàláwọ̀ náà ìwọ lọ dáná ni. Ọlọ́run yà kàtó bá ní. Màdúrà wa tẹ́ ń pè ní kèfèrí ní ṣé gbogbo wa yín náà lọ́nà wọn wà ní ẹ̀ máa lọ. Kí ni túmọ̀ àforíjì ọ̀dọ̀? Tó bá jẹ́ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ṣe rí yìí lọ́dọ̀ bá lọ orí ni kò ní sẹ́kù ẹyọ ẹnìkan láyé.
Wow. I play these videos of people like this, Islamic leaders like this from time to time, especially amongst us Yoruba people, so that we understand that our it's important to keep repeating this so that we don't get to assume that everybody is the same way. It's good to know that someone like this exists amongst us, and that is also speaking up for the culture and for the people of Yoruba land, not just about the religion. Having said that, I said earlier that the governors of Lagos, Oyo, Ogun, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti states met today in Ibadan, and I'm going to read something to you from Vanguard on the matter. Governors of the southwest states are not expected, they actually met already, but this was before the meeting. They converged on Ibadan for an urgent, unscheduled meeting to deliberate on pressing regional matters, particularly security concerns across the zone. The closed-door session, which commenced at the governor's office, Agodi, is being hosted by Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde. All 6 governors from Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti attended the event. Although details remain sketchy, sources said that the sudden meeting was convened to address rising security threats, fast-track infrastructure development, and strengthen regional integration under the development agenda for Western Nigeria, DON. The governors are also expected to review ongoing collaborative security initiatives, including the operations of the Amotekun Corps, with a view to enhancing its capacity amid emerging challenges. So it's good to know that our governors are also keeping tabs on what's happening, and they're not just chilling and waiting for federal government to do something about it. So this is very, very good. And they also mentioned Dawn Commission. By the way, Amotekun is actually the brainchild of Dawn Commission, and it's good to see that, you know, they are not relenting. They're all, you know, all hands are on deck to ensure that our region is secured. And just in case you don't know much about Dawn, I want to just read a few things about Dawn Commission, then I'll read one last news item, and then I'll bring people up. Dawn Commission is a development agenda for Western Nigeria. It's a policy think tank and strategic development body created by the 6 states of the southwest region of Nigeria, Lagos, Ekiti, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Oyo, to foster sustainable regional development and integration. It was established in 2013 with a vision to make southwest Nigeria the preferred place to live, work, and invest by aligning regional goals and facilitating cooperation and collaboration among the states. By the way, it's non-partisan. It doesn't, I mean, nobody cares whether you're in PDP or APC. It's about Yoruba interest. There are many things here. They facilitate public service reforms and capacity development for government officials towards effective delivery of public goods. Number 2, they promote policy development. Number 3, they enhance regional security. Let me read the other one. Promoting policy development, they guide regional plans on key sectors like agriculture, education, and infrastructure, aiming to improve quality of life. Number 3, they enhance regional security. Dawn Commission conceptualized the Western Nigeria Security Network, known as Amotekun, enhancing community safety across southwest Nigeria. And then they also foster economic integration. Dawn Commission fosters economic partnerships across states to drive self-sufficiency and growth in areas like technology, agriculture, and workforce development. And also, lastly, the 5th one is preserving cultural heritage. Dawn Commission actively promotes Yoruba culture, language, and heritage, integrating it with modern education, tourism, and the arts. And they had a meeting with representatives of Southwest Development Commission a while back. The Southwest Development Commission and Dawn Commission forged strategic alliance to accelerate regional growth. The Southwest Development Commission and the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, Dawn Commission, have formalized a strategic partnership designed to deepen coordinated development across the Southwest region. The collaboration was cemented on 20th November 2025 during a courtesy visit by SWDC's executive management team, led by the Managing Director, Dr. Charles D.G. Akinola, to the Dawn Commission headquarters at Cocoa House, Ibadan. The engagement marks the beginning of a mutually beneficial institutional relationship between both bodies. Under this new alliance, the two organizations will initially focus on key priority areas including agriculture, modernization, railway and transport infrastructure, human and social capital development, industrialization and advancement in technology and innovation. Both institutions have reaffirmed their commitment to reducing duplication, harmonizing initiatives, and ensuring more efficient use of resources to deliver greater regional impact. This partnership represents a significant step toward a more integrated development ecosystem in the Southwest, with both organizations aligned in their mission to deliver measurable improvements in the lives of the region's nearly 40 million people. So the beautiful thing about this is that Dawn Commission already has the framework. The Southwest Development Commission will be getting the funds to, essentially actualize the plans that have been designed by Dawn Commission. Someone says Dawn Commission should also cover the Yorubas Inquirer, even if it's outside the zone. No, I wish it could be that way, but it's not. It was created by the governors of the region. So unless you are getting it's not what they can decide. It depends not on Yoruba but on the region as it is presently structured. But to be honest, it would be lovely to have all Yoruba people, whether they're in Delta or Edo State or in Kwara and Kogi State, to be part of it. But because of Nigeria's structure, it's a good idea. But we'll see when we do what we are doing. Hopefully, at some point, some things will come up that will ensure that those people can work with their brothers in the Western region. There's a document on that. Maybe I'll put it on the Telegram channel later. Lastly, I want us to listen to somebody that actually made Nigeria proud a few days ago. Then I'll bring people up. There was a conversation on international security, all right? And this happened in the United States. A senator made a statement about Nigeria, and a Nigerian was present in the audience. That's Japheth Omojua. And he spoke like a very, very sensible Nigerian. He did not deny the issues we have, but he wasn't there to demarcate Nigeria like some people are want to do. Here's the exchange between the Senator Kevin Cream and Japheth Omojua. Take a listen, please. Oh dear, you can't take a listen now. Wait, let me plug this thing. All right, take a listen, guys.
Today are probably with that. And I think the Christians in Nigeria today are probably feeling pretty good about Donald Trump's position.
Thank you very much. Senator, you said the Christians in Nigeria today are probably feeling good about Donald Trump. So I'm a Christian from Nigeria.
You're an expert.
1 out of 100 million Christians, very small sample size. I do not feel good about Donald Trump. He called Nigeria a disgraced country. Frankly speaking, that's not so bad because he used to call us a shithole country. So it's a kind of improvement on disgraced countries is an improvement. Is there a better way, for instance, a decent way to offer help to someone? So if I looked at all the shoes on this panel, and you guys are wearing nice suits, everybody is wearing nice suits, but there's a differentiation of shoes. The senator's shoe is different. So if I was your friend, after this panel, I would buy you a gift, a nice shoe to match up with your suit. I wouldn't have to say anything about the state of your shoes that made me buy you those shoes. Is there a way that powerful countries can help less powerful countries, poor countries, without doing it in a way that leaves them worse off? For instance, America went to Libya. Libya has a causative effect on the terrorism challenges that Nigeria and the Sahel is facing. I don't want to talk about the other places America went to. Let's just stick it to Nigeria. Since Donald Trump said what he said for Nigerian Christians, Christians have been abducted in the church in the northwest of Nigeria.
Sure.
Muslim students have been abducted. I do not speak to the causation, but there's a correlation between Donald Trump, from the point Donald Trump spoke about Nigeria's challenges and the escalation of terrorism. So, decency apart, there are rules of engagement. There's a global rules order. There's a rules-based global order. Is there a way to speak about Nigeria, first of all, in a respectful, decent way, not even just as president of America, but as a human being? And much more so as the president of the United States of America, that I will always respect as a person, and frankly speaking, Nigerians continue to respect generally. Also, is there a way to help Nigeria? Because, for instance, one of the reasons why we failed woefully at fighting terrorism was because despite having the money, despite having the intention and the motivation to buy weapons from America for so many years, we were denied. Eventually, we got them, and for some of those weapons, they also told them where not to use those weapons. So I'm just going to ask and sit down. Is there a way to decently help Nigeria without making things worse and without disrespecting Nigerian Christians and Muslims?
Thank you very much. Well, I think
Great question. No doubt the answer to your question is certainly. And I want to address both things. First of all, the words do matter. They do. You were kind in suggesting, is there a way to do some things and not needing, to make things worse by the wrong words? The right words help. A more delicate way of saying something is obviously better than a more brutal way. That said, at the end of the day, a lot of people have promised things to Nigeria and several African nations. And by the way, once again, I point to my colleagues who are two of the biggest advocates for our relationship with Africa. And I won't go into all the ways that they do that or that we do it together. But the actions do matter. A lot of people will say the right thing and do the wrong thing. Other people will maybe say the wrong thing and mean to do the right thing. Is there a better way? Certainly. But one thing, your example is very specific and it's appropriate in your case. But you also touched on a larger issue. It's not just one country. It's not just one-on-one. There was an earlier panel, I forget which one, that got to the point of, and it might have even been Senator King, I don't remember, but one of the senators spoke to America's retreat. I think it might have been Tom Tillis, now I think of it, America's retreat from several areas, which has left them vulnerable to the predators, if you will, to China especially, and their predatory financing and behavior. There are lots of ways. And I think, for example, one of the areas where President Trump and I have disagreed quite openly is in the effective use of USAID. Those things need to be conformed, for sure. But when we talk about democracy, and I talk about the difference in the United States as being more self-governed, he is a reflection of the country. All of our democracies, democratically elected leaders are a reflection of their country, and that's the pastoral role they should play at the higher level. But at the governing level, I think, globally speaking, aid to friends and would-be friends and possible friends is a bargain compared to munitions. And I just think we need to be more directly engaged in with that.
I can't say really answer the question, but I like the way Japheth asked the question. And that's all for today. I'll bring people up now, and then if there's any other thing I want to talk about, I'll do that later. So let's have some people. As soon as you get up, please mute. For the person in the comment section, please, you have to send a request, then I'll bring you up. And once you get up, please mute. Thank you very much. And then we'll have, everybody will be timed. We can't speak for so long. We started a bit late. So please, 2 minutes, max 3, and that will be all for each person. Thank you very much. All right.
Hello, Prof. Good evening.
Good evening. Please mute 1 second, please. I want to bring everybody together, so I'll now have you speak. 1 second, please. You'll be the first one to go, by the way. Please mute. Please mute. Thank you. So let's start with Abdurrahman, and then we'll go to CEO and Perizim. Good evening, Abdurrahman. Please, you're the first person going, so we can't have you talk for so long. So 2 minutes, max 3. Thank you.
Well, even if it is 1 second, I will talk. But I want you to know that, Prof, this area, I have a vast knowledge about it. I wanted to add some value to today. Before I counter the position of Sheikh Gumi, let me say this, Prof. I and Sheikh Gumi, we come from the same state. I know, in fact, I did my, is it receipting? What do you call it? Receipting in his hometown. I know his grandfather. I know virtually all his parents from that local government. So I'm in better position to counter him. But before then, Pro, This issue of banditry, it all started in Zamfara State. Anywhere you see banditry, from northwest to northeast, from northwest to north central, I can tell you without a fear of contradiction that they are just branches of Zamfara warlord, banditry, terrorists, or whatever you may call them. When Erim was governor, because they started with armed robbery, then the people start retaliating. After that, it generated into ethnic fights, Hausa Fulani fights. So Yarima then, governor of the state, he wanted to resolve the issue. He sat with them on 3 different times whenever they sat. Whenever they had an agreement, Fulani will break it. So at the end of the day, Yarima got angry and opened up the forest and shared the forest as a farm to the elite of Zamfara. That is how it turned out to be bloody. From there, they said, since Yarima displaced them, Zamfara will never live in peace, will never be in peace, rather. What Shogumi is saying, I don't agree with him. And anyone that is that has the same opinion with Gumi, to me, he's either speaking from the sentiment angle, or he is sponsored by the actual power that created this killing industry. It is not hidden. We all know that this killing industry has managing directors, MD, chairman, board, and whatever. You understand? It is well structured, very well structured. They have protection within the government. They have protection outside government. It is not hidden. We all know that. Take Zamfara, for example. I swear to Almighty God, whatever I have, I can put it on bed. If Shogumi can go to his local government in Zamfara to stand before the people and say that he is calling for negotiation with Fulani, if Shogumi come down from the pulpit with his life, I forfeit everything I have in this world. He's only saying this nonsense because he doesn't know Zamfara. He has nothing to do with them. He lives in Kaduna. You understand? And out of the country. And when he was in the military, when he was in service, he was in southern part of the country. And he wasn't born in Zamfara. Even if he was born there, he doesn't know it. So if he is advocating for the peace, or by the way, these people that are saying Fulani have, government disregard Fulani, government do not attend to their need. I'm asking you, Prof, is the Fulani ethnic group better than other ethnic group in this country? Are they better? In the history of this country, it is the only Fulani that the parallel government, then under IBB, when Professor Jibril Aminu was Minister of Education, he come up with this nomadic education system. it was the only Fulani as an ethnic group had that privilege up to date. Of course, we know Fulani are suffering, but quote me anywhere. There are 3 ways that Fulani are suffering from. Number 1, if jihadists trespass a farm, then this terrorist group called Miyetti Allah or Cartel Hore, which are Fulani's organization, they will come in. Back then there was no Cartel Hore, only Miyetti Allah. The Miyetti Allah will come to the aid of the criminal, is it pastoral or how to put it? They will come to his aid. From there, they will start exploiting him. They will connive with the local chief, traditional chief there. You understand? Then the third and fourth is the police and the judges, magistrate or alkali or whatever you may call them. Among these 4, you hardly see someone that is not a Fulani. Miyetti Allah members are Fulanis, and there are higher probability or chances that the local chief is Fulani too. Number 3, the judge that is going to adjudicate the matter might be Fulani. Maybe only police that you will see someone that come from, is someone that come from other part of the country. The second way is this.
Please begin to round up.
What they call getting up.
Please begin to round up.
Okay. That's what they call Gainako. For example, if you have a cattle and then it is raining seasons in some part of the country or in neighboring country, you will ask somebody to come and take your cattle to those areas. Some, they will run away with the cattle. They will never come back. So this one that ran away with their cattle, who is he? He's a Fulani too. Then the third way is through raiding. Ruga means the settlement of the Fulani. A fellow Fulanis will raid the Ruga and cut it away their cattle. So among these 3 ways, tell me any tribe that involved in this, in what they are calling injustice or whatever. Prof, what Hajiana Ja'atu said, she said the truth. Nothing but the truth. Yes. But I want you to know that there is some part of that interview that you either did not play or it wasn't part of the one that you have. She has been paired to President Tinubu. What happened was that after she met him in London and asked him what are his plans for the northern part of the country, because we virtually lost 8 years for the useless person called General Buhari. I'm sorry for using this word on this platform. It is inappropriate, but many people like me, it hurt us. That is our greatest mistake in our life. So she asked him what he has for the north. He said nothing. So when she raised the issue of insecurity, He said, look, I cannot put myself into trouble. Then she said, I'm out. President told her, look, Haja, I cannot put myself in trouble. You know there are powers behind that killing machine. All I'm after is... Okay, so that is it. And to those that are calling for USA to come and defend us or whatever, no problem, no problem. They should continue. By the way, this guy that you play, may God bless him, what gladdened my heart was that that senator couldn't even attempt to answer his, the question thrown at him. But the bastard, he was saying all kind of rubbish for this country in an arrogant way. But at the end of the day, a young man, an eloquent young man, asked him a simple question. He kept beating around the bush. You couldn't answer it. So for those that are calling for US to come, I have this message for you. Number one, nobody can convince me that Western countries have no hand in what is happening now.
Yeah,
Number two.
We have to move on now.
Okay.
You've used about 15 minutes. I don't have that much time.
But it is productive.
Yeah, but I have to go somewhere. We're not going to spend the whole day. You're number two.
So
you're number two. You're number two. You're number two.
Okay.
You're number two.
Okay. Nobody can convince me that Western countries have no hands in it. I have series of videos. In fact, there are certain people, there are certain videos that I always want to send to you, but I can't because I send my WhatsApp number through what do you call it, TikTok. Maybe
no, you can send on Telegram at Busui Oris.
Telegram, I told you I can't open it because they are asking for my phone number and it is not active, only active on WhatsApp. So I have issue with that chat.
No problem.
So
I will.
Back to our.
I'll expect that. I really have to. We really have to move. We really have to move. It's 8:38. It's.
Yeah,
it's
but
tonight.
you said I should. Let me.
That was 1.5 minutes ago.
Prof, don't do this. Let me say this for the last time, please. So, like I was saying, there is one this thing attributed to former UN General Assembly President Bitrus Gali. I don't know whether it is true or not, but I think it is true. He was asked after his retirement, where will be his what do you call it? Okay, you are aware of it the way you are smiling. So you are not. Okay. He said probably he will retire to Nigeria, jokingly. He was asked by his friend why. He said because though he is a Christian, but if he is to be asked where God is on earth, he will say the God is in Nigeria. He says why? He said okay, there are 3 ways that they used to destroy a country. He said every country that they destroy, they use only one weapon out of the 3. And they usually sit only for 1 or 2 to take a decision to destroy that country. But for Nigeria, they sat more than 30 times. Nigeria did not break. And then apart from that, he said those 3 things that they are only looking for one in some countries.
We're going to listen to other things later. I really have to. No, I really have to end. Abdurrahman. No, seriously. No, seriously. It's. I mean, to be honest, it was supposed to be 2 minutes late. 2 minutes, max 3 minutes. You spent more than 15 minutes. I really have to. I mean, whatever we can't say within the time allotted, then maybe another time you can come up. Let somebody else go. We have already gone out of today's topic. I want to make sure that I also have other things to do. It's 20 minutes to 9 p.m. and I'm in Nigeria. So please try and understand. I bent over backwards a lot for you, but I really have to move on. But thank you very much for your submission. I really appreciate it. Let's go to CEO now. Good evening, CEO.
Good evening, Prof.
Please don't be like Abdurrahman. No, just try and make it short. Thank you.
My own is straight to the point, straight bullets.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to talk on security. Security in Nigeria now is a basket case, and is a clear and present danger. And the earlier we tackle it, and we tackle it, the better. But I'm also scared because I've had some rhetorics coming out from security personnel within the country, and I'm not too encouraged by those rhetorics. Like, for instance, the chief of defense staff, I say about 10,000 people that were recruited into the army last year, they've all vanished. And then now they want to recruit additional 24,000 people. And he went as far as saying that if the youth are not joining the army, then they will have to invoke the mandatory military service clause to get people into the army. That for me is scary. That if the army can recruit about 10,000 personnel and they've all vanished, then that is a problem in its own. Because the last time I was there, I think I did mention that the active military personnel in Nigeria is like about 240,000. But he himself also confirmed now that they just have like about 177,000 active military personnel to protect a country of like about 250 million people. That, again, is a challenge. Then the third one is, I'm hoping and I'm praying that we don't get to that stage where people begin to resort to a self-help that will further aggravate the problem. Because I'm sure, Prof, you know the history of the Yawaos. They were called in to help them fight against Boko Haram, and they have now by themselves become another terrorist group. So when people begin to resort to such self-help, we will have a bigger problem than we are trying to solve. But really, Nigerian security is a challenge for me and is of concern for me as a citizen. But I'm more concerned about the Southwest. And though the Southwest governors are taking a step, I won't like to say it's a little too late, but it's better late than never. With the kind of industry I'm involved in, I am privy to some technologies and some apparatus that the Southwest can use to protect itself. So sometimes I wonder, is it that people in our security, people manning our security don't have access to this information, or is it that they're just complacent or negligent in their duties? Because the entire Southwest can be mapped into a grid, and then you can now begin to create surveillance within those grids. They can be mapped into small squares that you can now begin to surveil. And it's easy to detect who is carrying weapon. Its signatures and everything will tell you the type of weapon that person is carrying and the direction, what has changed and everything. So all these things are available. So I'm amazed sometimes when I hear these people. Of course, security is very, because I've had the Minister of Interior say that they've signed up for some sort of equipment for border patrol and border monitoring and surveillance. I hope and I pray that these things come to fruition. But like I said, also Southwest is my concern. Nigeria is my country, but Southwest is my constituency. So I'm more concerned about Southwest. So as much as we can, we'll engage and try to see if they don't have those information, maybe we'll begin to provide it to them so that we can further secure our region. God bless Nigeria. God bless Southwest. God bless Yoruba Nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that submission, CEO. I really appreciate it. Before we go to the next person, this is an update from the security meeting held, convened by the Ogun State governor. Actually, before the Southwest governors meeting today, the Ogun State governor had convened a similar meeting, for people for Ogun State itself. I'm just going to read some updates from the governors. I think he's one of the people that work with the governor. And we put it out there: 70 foreigners, mostly from Niger, Chad, and Sudan have been arrested in the last couple of days. Those foreigners have no means of ID, they can't speak English, and they couldn't provide clear explanations for their presence in Ogun State. They will be processed for deportation through the Nigeria Immigration Service. Number 2, Ogun State government will begin the documentation of all undocumented foreign nationals working with multinational companies operating in Ogun State. Number 3, non-indigenes entering the state for the first time will now undergo proper screening by their community leaders. They will be asked to present their purpose in the state and means of livelihood before they will be accepted to live anywhere in the state. This is to ensure that they are not used to orchestrate violence. Number 4, law enforcement agencies have been directed to pay special attention to scavengers in the state and immediately arrest any who breaks the law. The meeting deliberated extensively on the activities of scrap dealers and scavengers who may now be aiding criminal networks. It was noted that they now pose a greater security threat than before. Number 5, Governor Dapo Abiodun directed the police to immediately move to areas such as Zanga in Ijebu-Ode and similar enclaves of scavengers across the state and clear them out. He warned that properties used by criminals will henceforth be seized by the state government. Number 6, on Ajebo in Obafemi Owode local government area, security concerns. He noted that security agents have visited the area and security operations will continue in the area. The state forest reserves have been commissioned to comb the forests across the state and ensure criminals are not using them as hideouts. Number 7, on illegal mining. The governor noted that the government is aware that some miners operate as miscreants and it's working with security agencies to flush criminals out of mining sites and forest reserves. Number 8, the governor cautioned traditional rulers, Obas and Bales against allocating government lands to strangers, that any traditional ruler found culpable would be held accountable for undermining state interest. Number 9, Governor Dapo Abiodun said the meeting was convened in response to the country's current security climate, noting that as Nigeria's industrial capital, Ogun receives more than 5 million daily commuters, making it crucial for government to heighten vigilance. Number 10, the governor appealed to residents to actively support community policing efforts by providing credible information to security agencies. Number 11, he commended security agencies for their cooperation and synergy, which he said has contributed significantly to the peace Ogun State currently enjoys. And lastly, the governor lauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for stabilizing the economy and commended him and the security agencies for the prompt rescuing of kidnapped victims in Kwara and Niger states. All right, that's something good from Ogun State. Someone says Ogun State must accommodate. Is this a human being? I'll check later. I'm not sure. Oh, I know where this one is from. Wait, let me show you who you are. Guys, we're going to move to the next speaker. I want to just show you a picture of this retard and his family members. You're not distracting me. I just need to show you this. I saw this image online. I think it's apt for this moment. They misspelled the IGBO, it should be Igbo. You get in there, derail that conversation. It's not about Igbo, but get in there and make it about Igbo. Let's go to the next person. Let's talk to sensible human beings rather than this bunch of retards. Perry Zimsa, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Ẹkáàbọ.
Bless you. Yes, thank you very much. Let me start with the last statement the last speaker said, that is only concerned about Southwest, and sincerely, that is my stand. I want to give it to all our governors for the proactive measure they are doing. I was listening to a radio program today, and I heard Seyi Makinde bought 2 aircraft just to beef up security in Oyo State. Kudos to them. I give it to them bountifully. And based on the affair they play, Ibo enjoyable affair tiwa enjoy.
Oyo State, Ibadan, Akeugba Gold.
mo ti gbọ́ wọn rí tẹ́rí ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ gbọ́ wọn this àwọn liberal muslim ta nílẹ̀ yorùbá tí wọ́n wà too extreme irú wọn ni mo wà lórí Twitter space ní weekend and I made a submission tá a bá lè ṣe nílẹ̀ yorùbá sincerely we won't have people like Gumi to come and infiltrate our people and start preaching extremists to them. And máa ti sọ̀rọ̀ ó ti pẹ́ tí mo ti gbọ́ mẹ́sẹ̀gì máa yẹn ó ní àwa fúnra wa gan la neglect àwọn muslim wa tí wọ́n lọ sí under sultanate láti lọ máa gbọ́ gbogbo àwọn kan tó ń gbọ́ yẹn we àti underfund wọn jù sincerely let us be factual with ourselves àwọn people need the fund this I'm just proposing this tá bá fẹ́ break hegemony tó wà láàrin àwọn muslim wa àti sultanate this is what we can do ẹ jẹ́ ká fund àwọn irú man if you can fund this man let us be alone according to history Islam has been in Yoruba land even far before the father of Usman Dan Fodio was born. I don't see reason why we will be subjected to anything from Sokoto. I don't see the reason. Now look at that beautiful message that man gave. Martin go around message from Islam, Latin Yoruba. I know me madam say yes, at New yes, nobody can just come anyhow and change our ideology about some certain things. I give it to that man. And I know in Nile Yoruba we still have 70% of such Muslims not to hold that ideology. But by the time Gumi ń bọ̀ wá ṣe speech, I was so downcasted irú kí lélẹ̀ náà kí là ń fà sílẹ̀ Yorùbá báyìí. And nǹkan tó ń dá àdéhìn nìyẹn Sokoto náà ti lọ ń gbowó and that is why they are doing this. Tí n bá jẹ́ bí governor any of these Yoruba states, I'm saying what I will say, I mean what I will do, and I'm saying it publicly. I will make sure Christian I'm a Christian, I'm a Sunday school teacher in Christ Apostolic Church. I'm not ashamed to say it. I will make sure I fund these people so that they will not be under the tutelage of those people tó máa fún ọ ní extreme ideology. Ẹ wo nǹkan tó ń bà mí lẹ́rù ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá báyìí ẹrù pé Fúlàní máa wọlé ò dẹ́rù bà mí ẹrù tó ń bà mí ni àwọn ará wa tí wọ́n ti tẹ bá ń gbọ́ sí pé tàwọn ọmọ Yorùbá Muslim mi ẹ tún àwọn káwọn ilé ti lọ wọ́n sọ dáadáa lọ rí pé to prostrate for your parents is haram. Àwọn kan ti ń sọ lọ́mọ Yorùbá wọ́n ti ń sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn jáde àwọn ideology tó dẹ̀ ti express wọn sí ni. So we have to fund our own Islam Muslim wa let us fund them and let them be independent on their own. Gbogbo ilé tá à ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n máa you have to wait for Sokoto something before you do anything. And we should throw it away. We can start on our own. We are a civilization far better before Usman Dan Fodio came into Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
If our Muslim place, I'm not against your religion. We are acting peacefully in love. But we've been seeing some extreme ideology from some certain people. They might say, you what we're killing Yoruba, and it's because I want to feed the role. And so that's what I
Thank you, Perizim.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you very much for your submission. Yeah, I really appreciate it. All right, move to the Dark Port and then Mark Bleeds. Mark Bleeds, as soon as you come up, please mute so that we can listen, we can hear Dark Port. Dark Port, please mute. Mark Bleeds. Mute in Jesus' name. Dark Poet, please go on.
Good evening, Prof. Ẹkáàbọ. I will quickly rush through my point. Money, dear, that is lady. Mr. Abdurrahman, what he said, because I've had the opportunity to live in Zamfara State, Brendan Magaji to be precise. What he said, I agree with majority of what he said, because during my stay there, it was even when this Boko Haram thing was fresh. That was in 2012. So it was fresh then, and I had the opportunity to speak with some people who are knowledgeable there. And what they told me was that when this thing started, they thought these people are going to fight for them. And they accept them in, they allow them mix with them, not knowing those people have their own agenda. That's part of the mistake they made on their own. And Boko Haram has not spread like that throughout the north. What has spread was banditry and others. And these two, they predate Boko Haram, or they predate all other insurgencies.
No. Herdsmen predate Boko Haram. Banditry actually came after Boko Haram.
No. Prof, come on, continue. So, banditry predates is because they don't report these things. They don't report these things at all. It was underreported before. Because part of what happened before is if banditry strike, they call it Boko Haram. I was in Brindin Magaji in 2012 when banditry, all these bandits, they killed like 24 people who are traveling from one local government to another. They killed them, they burned them. But when I saw the news, I saw, 24 people killed and burnt by Boko Haram. Because so I was like, wow. Then Boko Haram have never struck in Zamfara state. It was bandits and all these miners, mining class, where the banditry protect those miners. Then those are the clash that happened. And what happened was that these people will, after they stay in the bush, they'll come in, threaten and kill some local government people, some people in the community, and they go back. So along the line, those guys too, they organized a vigilante group. They went into the bush, killed some of them, and attacked them to kill them. And on the long run, they have to send. They went and regroup and come back. Let's work back because so that because of censorship. So on Padawa, let's work back on 24. So majority of those strikes, those shelembe, they are not actually Boko Haram long pan or what people long pan. The media is just twisting it and calling it. My late mom called me then. On soft me I have to calm her down. So that because I am in the same local government, even Molosi, I saw it live. My can you come on smartphone come on. Me capture. So aside that, one, we have intel deficit problem in our military. Intelligence gathering deficit is super low. And also infiltration not one be. At this day and age, Oyekati one level that ma lo drone láti ma fi monitor nǹkan. And then I heard about one of the panelists said we have the CDS said we have 170,000 active military personnel. Emi first of any that 170,000 will defend this, even could like to be gonna defend this country against the internal insurgency. But the issue is that our government were infiltrated to the highest command. This is where this has been going on for a long while, which is everything potentially is way underreported. Only alarm you Shewa. But nisin to overblow again because of some issues. So one, the military has been well funded for the past 1 decade. Ètò ẹ̀kọ́ fira weapon a máa gbọ́ pé ẹnìkan non-military personnel ló bá fi plane gbowó lọ sí. Okay, a máa gbọ́ pé non-military personnel ló bá gbowó lọ sí kí n ta fẹ́ lọ fi ra àwọn weapon ta fẹ́ fi bá àwọn AP ìjà. Another thing, everything is just going on in the, and then what the Abdurrahman said about the past president is actually factual. And then Kini Gumi Sheti they arrest Gumi. These people are well protected both internally and externally. And then has
Gumi committed any crime?
No.
What are you going to arrest him for?
No. On what terms is Gumi boye wa yen? O ti to ko pe fún question ni ko de wa jẹ́wọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó ń sọ yẹn. Kò ṣe pé arrest ko pé ko charge ni mo sọ. Let them bring him in. Let him come and speak his gbogbo nǹkan tó ń sọ yìí. let him come and speak all this kini pé òun bá wọn negotiate wọn òun mọ ibi tó wà kọ́ máa attack wọn kọ́ máa kini. That is not the solution. Anthony ká máa attack tó dẹ̀ ń pààyàn kiri, and you are still telling definitely there's something behind that. Oh, kò lè máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. And then let me just stop. Let me just stop there for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Prof.
Thank you very, very much for that submission. All right, before we go to the next person, I'm going to read. I want to read an update here from the Southwest Security and Development, meeting that was held today. 1 second, please. All right, this is a communique issued at the end of the Southwest Governors Forum meeting held on Monday, 24th November 2025 at the Governor's Office, Secretariat, Ibadan, your state. The Southwest, The Southwest Governors Forum, comprising the governors of Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, and Ondo states, held its meeting on Monday, 24th November 2025, at the Governor's Office, Secretariat, Ibadan, Oyo State. After extensive deliberations on various issues, including agriculture, economic and regional development, and security challenges affecting the Southwest region, the forum resolved as follows. The forum commends Mr. President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on the fight against insecurity and various economic reforms and other developmental agenda. The forum expresses solidarity with the federal government in its efforts in Kebbi, Kwara, and Niger states after the recent spate of kidnappings at the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga Town, the Catholic Institution of St. Mary's in Papiri, Agwara Local Government Area, Niger, and the CAC Church at Eruku, Kwara State. The forum applauds the swift response of the federal government towards the rescue of the Kwara abductees and more than 51 students of the Catholic Church, Niger State. The forum reviewed the current state of security of our region and took some decisions to ensure the security of the lives and property of our people. Number 1, Southwest Regional Security Fund. The forum agreed to set up a Southwest Security Fund, SWSF, under Dawn Commission to be administered by Forum of Special Advisors on Security of all Southwest states and to meet monthly. Number 2, Joint Security Intelligence Sharing and Communication Platform. The forum resolves to establish a live digital intelligence sharing platform among all 6 Southwest states: Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti. This platform will exchange threat notifications, incident logs, traveler and cargo alerts, and coordinate state-to-state rapid response. Number 3, Forest Surveillance. The forum commends the efforts of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Hunters, Amotekun Corps members, and all the other security agencies. The forum calls on the federal government to note the urgent need for enhanced forest surveillance across the Southwest states and called for the federal government to secure the vast forest belts that have become hideouts for criminal elements. To this end, the forum agrees that the federal Southwest states, with each state government responsible for providing the required personnel. That's brilliant. Don't import them. Each state government is responsible for providing the required personnel. The governors reaffirm their collective commitments to reclaiming the forests and ensuring that these spaces no longer serve as safe corridors for banditry, kidnapping, or any form of criminal activities. Number 4, interstate migration. The forum expresses deep concern on the unregulated, I'll take that again. The forum expresses deep concern on the unregulated interstate migration that continues to pose significant challenges across the Southwest. The forum calls for stricter border monitoring. Oh, wow. Stricter border monitoring, data collection, and self-identification, and each Southwest states to work with the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, for proper identification. The forum agrees to intensify security collaboration to ensure that interstate migration does not become a conduit for insecurity. Number 5, illegal mining activities. The forum expresses deep concern over the escalating illegal mining activities across the Southwest states, which continue to threaten environmental safety, public health, and regional security. The forum calls for comprehensive and enforceable licensing framework, strengthened monitoring mechanisms, and strict enforcement actions against violators who may perpetrate violent crimes under the guise of mining. Number 6, State Police. The forum reaffirms its support for the establishment of state police, emphasizing that the time is now and it can no longer be delayed. Our leaders are smart though. Number 7, agriculture, food security, and climate resilience. The forum acknowledges and appreciates the efforts of the federal government in providing food sufficiency, and in particular commends the various farmers in the region for the increase in agricultural output and subsequent stability and reduction in food prices. Oh boy. Excuse me, guys. Number 8, Southwest Development Commission, SWDC. The forum thanks Mr. President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, for the establishment of the commission and charges the commission to effectively deliver on its mandate. Number 9, Dawn Commission. The forum commends the Dawn Commission and its activities on regional integration and security. Number 10, finally, the forum enjoins all the Southwest people to remain united and committed to the peace that exists in our dear region. We remain one indivisible entity that will continue to enjoy and guard the religious tolerance that we have always been known for. That's from the Southwest Governors Forum meeting held today. I'm very proud of our leaders. I'm very proud of the things they're saying, and sincerely, the only thing that I thought could be a solution that they didn't include is the arming of Amotekun. But I guess if we have state police, that would be the answer to that question, to that concern, right? Someone says some are also playing as international agents. Yes, I mean everything they wrote here. What I like about this is, it's one thing to have ideas and wonder if you have dumbos as leaders who are not even able to think in that direction. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is that when you have conversations with people that actually think, whatever you come up with as solutions, you have folks who are leading, who are also thinking in that same direction, which means that, it makes sense that it means that we have leaders that make sense. I don't know, I'm trying not to overpraise them, but you get the point. Say they are scared to harm Amotekun. It's not, they cannot harm Amotekun. There's no law that allows them to harm Amotekun. That's the point. It's not about scared. The governors cannot harm Amotekun beyond where they are right now because of the law that established Amotekun, which is not 100% responsibility of the governors. It had to do with the National Assembly. There are layers to this. The law does not permit them to have more than what they have, which is a problem. So, but if there is state police, police have to bear arms. So that essentially takes care of that concern, where we don't have people who have to carry dang guns and clubs. They actually have, they're properly equipped to protect, the Southwest. And to be honest, I wish to say to protect Yoruba land, but we still have that little issue of regional system, which is what I'm always telling people. Before the next speaker, when people talk about regionalism, I'm always saying that this regionalism you are asking for is not really what I said a lot. Is not the dream of the true federalists. True federalists in Nigeria, the number one true federalist in this country is Awo. Goes back to the 40s and is consistent about it. Not that those who are always vacillating all over the place. And what they mean, or I've said meant, but I think it's still an active idea. What they mean by regionalism or federalism is ethno-linguistic states. So that as we are discussing right now, instead of saying Southwest, we should have been saying Yoruba. And it's a kind of, I see the frustration on social media. People are like, why can't Amotekun just do something in Kwara State? Why can't they just help the people? Because they be going outside their remit, outside their purview. They don't have any right to operate in Kwara State. So we are hoping that these conversations and the things that are happening right now will help us also to understand the real concept of federalism that Papa actually, pushed, right, which they always work towards, which they wanted to have at the time. And even if we don't have it the way they used to have it, when an opportunity presents itself to give us something similar, we'll be able to take it with both hands rather than just say, we want west and south and north and clinical. I hope you get the point. But again, I'm very glad that the governors met, and I'm glad with the communique they released, and every single thing they talked about makes absolute sense. We just look forward to the implementation of these policies, and we pray that the Southwest and Yoruba land generally, and also Nigeria, will continue to make progress. Thank you very much. Let's go to we have 2 more speakers, and then we're going to call it a day. Lekon, good evening, my brother. Comrade, are you there?
Yes.
All right, please go on. Evening, sir.
I joined the class.
1 second, please. Kadosoro. Mark Blitz and Vodis Copy. This is the third time I'm bringing you a Vodis Copy. Every time you come up, there is noise. So this will be the last time. Please, when you come up, please mute. If not, Oma affect Kotanshe, please. Right? So I'm going to bring you up. Only please just hold on for a second. Let's have him up so that we don't have interference. Please mute as soon as you come up. Mark Blitz, Vodis Copy, so that we don't disrupt this flow. So let's have Comrade Olekan. Please go on.
All right. Nínú àwọn nǹkan tí ọ̀sẹ̀ bá understand, one of the speakers gbà tó sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn ní mind láti ṣe fún àwọn Muslims in the Southwest, and ó jẹ́ kí n rántí nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ within, because it's going to be a threat within Southwest now látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Mùsùlùmí. Now àwọn Muslims a lè categorize wá sí méjì, like àwọn Sunni àti some parts that are
ṣé àtidélẹ̀ Yorùbá ni?
They are not.
Torí nínú Sunni nìkan, oríṣiríṣi ló wà nínú Sunni nìkan. Some people will argue that Wahhabis are also Sunnis, right? Thank you.
In fact, mo máa sọ nípa ẹ̀, mo ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu issue ọ̀rọ̀ Wahhabism náà. Òun gangan ni tẹ́ bá listen sí Mudir Mosque, that's Sheikh Adam, Sheikh Abdullah. Mo ti play fídíò wọn ní ìjọ kan rí, tẹ́ kàn play ẹ̀. So tẹ́ bá listen sí àwọn lectures wọn, ẹ máa rí majority of the time they always clamour for how do we secure the Southwest from these guys. They call themselves Sunni, and the politics, the ideology tí wọ́n lò is Wahhabism.
Sorry, please hold on. Dark Poet, Wahhabis are Sunni. They are Sunni. I actually know what I'm talking about. The Wahhabis are Sunnis. The point I'm trying to make is by the way, Olekon, you have to speak up, is the differentiation between Sunnis and Shia. So when you say there are 2 different branches, I mean, there are many sects within the Sunni. So it's not like Sunni is just one thing. But the broad categorization is usually Sunni and Shias. So when he said there are 2 categories, and then he mentioned Sunni, and I was like, are there Shiites in Yoruba land? That's the question I was asking. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So the Wahhabis are actually Sunnis. They are not Shiites. Inside the Sunnis, you have several groups. Some of them extreme, some of them not extreme. But you're a Muslim. Please explain to us better.
So Sunnis here, under Sunnis, then the Salafis are there too. In fact, there are some of them that like the likes of Tadamun, the MSS too. Majority of these guys, they are the one call themselves Sunni, and the likes of the one that are Sufism, that's the Qadiriya, Tijaniya, and the others. Àwọn yẹn ni wọ́n rí bíi pé they are not practicing the real Islam, and they see them as.
ẹ má bínú. Àwọn Tijaniya, they are also Sunnis, abi?
That's what Sunni. They don't. They were a Qadiriya will tell you is following the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. That is where that Sunni come out from. But even the Tijaniya will do the same. They said they practice the Sunnah of the Prophet.
So they are all Sunnis. So the Salafis are Sunnis. No. So people are saying Sufi. Understand? Wait. So this thing is. There's a broad categorization, right? It's true, generally speaking. Sunni, Shia. Inside Sunni, you now have several groups. The Wahhabis are Sunni. Someone says Tijaniya is under Sufi. Sufi itself is Sunni. Wahhabism, that they are Sunni. Salafis are Sunni. The point is that even though they are Sunni, it does not mean that there are no extremes amongst the Sunnis. I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, let me know. All right, Sufis are Sunnis. Wait, are Sufi Sunnis? You are a Muslim.
It's just nomenclature. Thierry Sunni yẹn, àwọn tí wọ́n ń gbé dán fi ń gbé orúkọ, tán ń gbé lórí bí orúkọ in this part of the world. Ìyẹn ni àwọn bíi àwọn Salafi, which their ideology is based on Wahhabism. If you get a Shiite person now, is also following the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet.
So what makes him different from the Sunni?
It is the beginning.
Please, you have to speak up. I really like this conversation for some interesting reason. But you need to go and see Mike.
Okay, so you answer
you answer. You are suspect becon. You answer becon. Because the main country in the world don't share only Iran, and so kini yato. This is better. So kini yato brand Islam tí wọ́n yàtọ̀ sí àwọn ti Saudi Arabia and the rest of the faith.
This thing is politics, sir. It is politics. Immediately the prophet died, and that is where the problem started. Immediately the death of the prophet, there is Muawiyah and some group that believe that they have to follow their own path, whereas after the third Khalifa, that is Usman, and Ali, who is the cousin to the prophet, now assume post as the next Khalifa after Usman. Now what now happened is some don't believe in him because of his own ideology, and that is where the Shiite beliefs in Islam came from. Ibi tí Shiite àti Sunni ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ gangan nìyẹn. So it is this.
So ìyàtọ̀ ni pé ìkan tẹ̀lé teachings of the prophet.
Yes.
Abi?
No. Ìkan tẹ̀lé àwọn Shiite ni followers of Ali.
Okay.
Àwọn tí wọ́n believe in Ali's ideology.
That's the prophet's cousin.
Yes.
Àwọn Sunni kọ́.
Whereas àwọn tó jẹ́ Sunni yẹn, àwọn follow Muawiyah. Man, I think even the Aisha, the wife of the prophet, is also in that group.
So the Shia is a breakaway group. The Shia is a breakaway group.
Yes.
Okay.
So
now please go back. Can you go back to the original point you were trying to make?
Where we started. As in nǹkan tó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ náà ìjẹ́sẹ́ mọ̀ pé I mentioned that one time pé bá study the ideology of Wahhabism, which originated, the creation of Saudi Arabia, their power hegemony. That was what spread across the region. I believe pé àwọn tó bá travel out lọ study abroad, they have better Islam, and that is where the problem started. If teba study Islam dáadáa in the southwest nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, ẹ máa rí wípé onísùfí ló pọ̀ jù tẹ́lẹ̀.
Sufi.
Yes, yeah, like Tijaniya, Qadriya, these are pure Sufi.
Kí ni Ahmadiyya? Kí ni Ahmadiyya?
Ahmadiyya, mi lè pè Ahmadiyya ló ní Sufi because they don't do what. Ẹ mọ̀, set yẹn pọ̀ gan.
Ó yé mi, ó níbi tí wọ́n lọ, mo try to kọ́ nǹkan kan ni o. Kí ni ìyàtọ̀? Ẹ má bínú, gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ń gbọ́ ẹ má bínú, there's a reason I'm doing this. Ansarudeen yàtọ̀ sí Ahmadiyya àbí apparently. Ṣé nǹkan kan náà làwọn máa ń.
Just like another, it's like elite society.
But Ansarudeen, ṣé Sufi da Ansarudeen?
You find Sufi among them, you will find Sunni. But the basic is that Sherry.
Don't rush, sincerely. This is I'm trying to pick something. When I was growing up, I knew the Ansarudeen and then Ahmadiyya, but Ahmadiyya was not part of the mainstream. I knew them to be but there was Legbekan, but there was, we didn't even have the names, just like there were mosques. But as we were growing up, we started seeing MSS, and then we now noticed that there's a man from Senegal. What's his name? He's from Senegal. He's the most popular. Yes. Inyas. He was very popular, and I don't. What's his own brand?
No, Sherry, I want to Ibrahim Niass is under Tijaniya.
Okay.
So only Sufi ni gbogbo àwọn yẹn. Like Ahmadiyya is like the way Moshele put Ahmadiyya ni pé.
So most of people in Yoruba land nígbà yẹn òun náà máa ń tẹ̀lé o ṣe mọ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Okay. Come back. I just want to clarify that. Please, you're on TikTok. Please power tap. This is showing activity. So Ansarudeen, Nasfat, they are also Sunni, but be Sufi, but they are not as like their societies.
They are not. They differentiate where.
Yeah, but Inyas actually has more. But that Inyas has more impact, like influence amongst Muslims in Nigeria, especially in the southwest. I used to see his pictures all over.
In West Africa, that's all.
Okay, you've answered my question. Now, please let's go back to what you really wanted to say, so that we can move on to voting.
So, ibi ọ̀rọ̀ Wahhabism, ibẹ̀ gangan ni issue yẹn tí wọ́n wáyé báyìí sí. Now, the ideology of Wahhabism, tẹ́ bá understudy ẹ̀ dáadáa, ẹ máa mọ̀ pé is a political ideology. It's not actually religion. Now, wọ́n push it into religion of Islam because of power. Now, kini òun ló wá spread nísìnyìí in the southwest. Torí ẹ̀ mo sọ pé this is going to be an internal threat. It's going to be a threat within, especially from the Muslim Yorubas. There's that separation between Muslim Yorubas, which we are having the Sunni and the you talk about the Qadriya, the Tijaniya, and every other group tí àwọn dúró lórí maybe Sufism, but àwọn oní Sunni, then you will see the Wahhabiyya, then you will see the Salafis, you will see the Muslim Congress. There are many of them too. Táwọn náà wà ní tán pé àwọn ní oní Sunni, wọ́n pé àwọn ní Sunni. And these are the where you differentiate it is also this recent event, the two conferences that took place in the southwest recently. among the Muslim scholars. The first one is the but the second one, I want to invite Gumi.
Our second one, ṣé extremist ni wọ́n.
Àwọn yẹn náà ń pe àwọn ní Sunni. Àwọn ní ideology wọn based lórí Sunni. Then so Wahhabi and then about the Wahhabism ni doctrine one.
Sorry, that's the point I'm trying to make. Is Gumi's father? Oh, the book is inside. Gumi's father is connected to Wahhabism. All those folks that came from Saudi Arabia in the 60s, 70s, in the 50s, 60s from Saudi Arabia. That's Sheikh Gumi's father. So it's not that they are Sunni. It's not that they are Sunni. It's that they are Wahhabis.
But Sunni is that beginning. Or Sunni and Shia.
Sherry, please help me. Okay. When you want to talk about the inner distinction among Sunnis, don't call them Sunnis. I already know they are Sunnis. Once you mention Sunni, my mind goes to Sunni versus Shiites. I'm thinking Sunnis versus Shiites. Okay. But once you want to talk about the groups within Sunni, once you mention Sunni, my head is going everywhere. But I get what you're saying right now. So you're saying that the people that had a meeting in Ibadan recently are Wahhabis.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So and a part of them is the Salafis too.
Okay.
Some of them are Salafis. Some of them are.
So
I think. So
Akeugba Gold has his right to say what he said.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Finally,
we have arrived at.
They understood all these things. So they are the problem we'll be having in the southwest now. So our movie tilts towards nǹkan tí man tó sọ̀rọ̀ láìpẹ́ ìsọ̀ fún ní pé Christian làwọn o, if they have something that they can do by funding the Muslim, and I think that is not the problem, because one of the issue, one of the communicate of the first group tí wọ́n ṣe conference, as in those ones that are Sufi now in the southwest.
Okay. Ṣé àwọn tó gbé máa ní Indonesia yẹn wá tó ń ṣe ní Oriental Hotel lẹ́kọ̀ọ́?
No.
Òyìnbó tó ń sọ pé okay torí ẹ̀ tó ń sọ extreme nìyẹn náà. Okay.
Those ones àwọn yẹn another group tó làwọn yẹn. That is like the Ansaruddin and
okay, like a movement, like a society, like NASFAT.
Yes, they originated in the FCT here. In fact, I know some of their top
wait, to MSS is Muslim Student Society, I believe.
Yes. Wahhabism, because ideology Wahhabism you want to introduce.
So this is where my own problem is with MSSN. Islam was not like this. I went to uni and I started noticing MSSN. I mean, they said when we were in secondary school, but I went to university. I think, yes. So what they have in MSSN is Wahhabism, and they are the ones.
Exactly.
If you are from there, I think the folks who are joining MSSN are know why extreme land are Muslim there you back. Thank you. Because I'm wondering, like, Muslim dagba. When you now get to university, you now start hearing things like you have to shake koletoi. Ó máa di pé bó tó bá ṣe bá gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe báyìí ó máa rún classmate mi kan ó máa rún pákó ní ṣá á máa rún pákó kí ni gbogbo eléyìí ṣe bí àwọn ọmọ ṣòkòtò ní balẹ̀ okay bọ́ ibi tó sọ àwọn ọmọ kan ló ṣe ẹ má bínú ikọ́ tí mo á rò sí ni pé àwọn tó bá kúrò ń bẹ̀ àwọn náà máa ń yí sódì tó máa bú Islam.
But tẹ́ bá ti listen sí Shekawu nígbà tó fi trend dáadáa, tẹ́ bá listen sí dáadáa, ní ó ní fídíò kan tí wọ́n ṣe tó trend nígbà yẹn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé they are on Wahhabism ideology. So àwọn ní kí ni wọ́n máa ń lé in fact some of us in Islam wọ́n sọ pé àkì í ṣe Mùsùlùmí because.
You know, my own problem with Wahhabis, with MSSN, it's not like I have a problem with them. I mean, to each his own. I mean, it was crazy in school. There was a time when, you know, they were going to go on a rampage. But, I mean, my own issue is, sincerely, is this. When folks stop believing, maybe they get disillusioned, they get tired and everything. Once they leave and they turn, they begin to attack Islam. And I'm not saying Islam is good or bad. That's the conversation right now is not about the goodness or the evil of what I'm not saying anything about that. It's just that they begin to hammer on stuff. There's something that Gold said, that there are ayahs, and I'm using my own words now. Be ayah, be shura, Tony Sheikh Pelu, be gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe gbégbé ayé. Ipe àwọn ayé àti sùúrù àtàwọn ọkọ pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn nínú ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀, like you are settled, you are comfortable, but that àwọn ayé àtàwọn táwọn máa ń lò ń gbà mí làwọn gbà tó gún tó jẹ́ tó gún. So àwọn tó bá ti wá jẹ́ tó ti wà lára wọn bóyá nǹkan kan wá ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n wá sọ pé àwọn dẹ́kun àti máa tẹ̀lé ìlànà yẹn. When they turn around, they go. I think it's because of that you have a lot of folks like this. I don't want to mention names. I see them on social media, and I always wonder where it's coming from. And when I got it, I was like, okay, I get it. They were radicalized, mostly, to be fair, mostly intellectually, not so much, you know, with Ibon. Turn around. They now use that intellectual whatever they got from MSSN against MSSN, and then you see these videos on social media and cursing Muslims. So me, I'll not be like, wait, which Muslims are you cursing? Is it the ones that belong to that group, or everybody, including the ones that I grew up with? Like, because I don't understand how. Yes, please.
Níbi tó worse dé, the takfur ní Islam. It means you are condemning that person not to be a Muslim. Okay. It has gotten to
kafir.
That.
So even you will be kafir.
Exactly. Wọ́n máa sọ fún wa pé àwọn ò ń ṣe pé à ń ṣe Mùsùlùmí mọ́, pé kèfèrí ni wá. That is the extent towards it. So anyways, that is their own headache. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí mo sọ fún yín tẹ́ sọ tẹ́ bá wo lecture Sheikh Abibullah.
I know that name.
Sheikh Abibullah Adam Alilori. Ẹ ti play.
Multiplayer. I know that name.
Class. So tẹ́ bá listen sí wọn dáadáa ẹ máa rí tí wọ́n always máa ń sọ pé in fact he made us to understand a lot of things about Wahhabism and how they are trying to tarnish the image of Islam and how they are trying to, and it's because of their rift with the Prophet. Anyways, that's a long story, sha. So ibi tí mo ń lọ bẹ̀ ni pé one of the communique tí wọ́n pass ni pé there will be employment.
Sorry.
Okay, àwọn nìyẹn. Exactly, àwọn nìyẹn.
Kí ló ń ṣe wa gan-an? Kí ló ń ṣe wa? Ṣáà lè rọra jókòó sójú kan ìwé làbúrò máa. Thank you very much for your submission, oh boy.
Yeah, thank you.
I will do Christian stuff before we do Islam in Yoruba land.
We'll come to our own.
We'll come and do it. I'll do. There's a book. What is that of this book? It's about Gumi's father, and there's another book that documented the introduction of Wahhabism into Nigeria. It started in the 60s, and then in the 70s. You know, and to be honest, I think every religious person is susceptible to this thing where somebody comes along. It happens in every religion, every. Even the Mormons, they will eventually still break. The point is, somebody will just come with one, say, there's a deeper way of doing things. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. You're joining. Like there's a deeper way of doing things. There's a purer version of the religion. And before you know what's happening, people go and say, because everybody wants to get deeper in the things of God, right? And they discover that eléyìí gan yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tó kọ́ wa wọ́n á sọ pé ó ní àwọn òbí wa máa ń pè nígbà táwọn kékeré ní èèyàn gba wèrè mẹ́sìn àwọn àtàjẹ́ Yorùbá bóyá jẹ́ Kristẹni o bóyá jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí o bóyá jẹ́ ẹlẹ́sìn àbáláyé o ìkọ́kíkọ́ tó bá máa jẹ́ ẹjọ́ ẹ ká máa farabalẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn ká máa lọ sí anybody can go that route, like just go to the extreme. It's unnecessary. Just stay in the middle of the road, do what you want to do to your God. Call on back, call off one ladder. All right, Ẹkáàbọ. But thank you very much for that. I mean, we should have a session on these things, and thank you for also helping me to come back to can you share what you missing? Yes, Bianco, we must avoid extremism. We are Yoruba people, we can't afford it. That's the truth. We cannot afford, different people can afford extremism in whatever religion, but we can't, because we are so connected with people from different regions, and we know that the primary thing for one Yoruba is our Yorubaness, our identity, our ethnic identity, not the religious identity. And the reason I'm always talking about this Islamic thing is, to be honest, is because Sharia and Wabai. Ọmọ yẹn kémi rántí gbà tẹ́mi kékeré gbà tí mo wà kékeré tá a máa ń gbọ́ táwọn mùsùlùmí máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ ikọ̀ pẹ́tà kan zogbo ẹ̀ pé kí ló dé wàá le tó lè yìí ọ̀tọ̀ ni pé, you know the funny thing, at the core of what they're saying, it has nothing to do with human development or even spiritual development. It's more about actions and things to be done, and can it come to ensure that you are a deeper whatever religion. I'm like, oh, that will be control procedure. Nobody, you can't stop people from, whatever religion you choose, but please just when people come around with, especially, and I have to say this for Islam, because of the history Islam me in our own space, right? It is a bit easier. Let me find a way to explain. You see, of the two main religions, the one that is more politically active or that tends more towards politics is Islam. Islam tends more towards politics. So what that means basically is that once it doesn't take a lot of work to politicize Islam. And that's why you notice, I played a video the other day where leaders from the Gulf region were talking about Islamism and how folks are moving into Europe, and that Europe doesn't understand the fact that that is not Islam. It's very easy to switch. And the people that will bring it will tell you they want to show you one deeper one, one cleaner one, one better one. That's what happened in Hausa land. Hausa land, Islam was used as a political weapon. And it's any religion can be used that way, but Islam also, because of the circumstances surrounding the entire religion itself. All of that to say this: we do have Yoruba people who recognize the fact that they can be Muslims and be Yoruba, right? And they don't have to move into political Islam and Wahhabism and trying to assert in control necessary because we are Yoruba people. Yoruba is not a religious, has never been we've never had a theocracy in Yoruba land. We don't have theocracy. We don't have a religious identity. We are people with diverse faith, and we should keep it that way. May God bless us. May God bless Yoruba land. May God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much. We have our final speaker. I know people want to come up. I apologize. It's to 10. It's to 10. I know we started late. That's why I'm actually staying, because we were supposed to start at 4. We started at 6 because I had a meeting earlier, and I apologize for that. So that's why I'm staying, up until this time. But I have to go. My kids are sleeping, which is not very cool. We're supposed to have while we're talking, the youngest one wrote me a letter. I can't read this shit, but oh boy, this boy. So we're going to have a discussion on this letter tomorrow morning. So let me have the final speaker so we can close the session, and then we can call it a day. Someone says, was it in Iwo that Sharia was introduced by the king then? I don't think it was Sharia. Iwo has there are towns in Yoruba land that were more open to Islam than other towns. One of those towns is Iwo. It was very open to Islam, but I don't know if it was about Sharia like that. But did they allow some things? One law deep gone, but I don't know if it's Sharia. I don't know if they are Sharia, but I know they had. I quoted one Odu the other day. People were angry, but they mentioned some of those things. One of these days we're going to have that session. The uniqueness of Iwo, of Islam in Iwo, in Yoruba land generally, but specifically in Iwo, because we'll study together. All right. So let's have this copy, and then we'll call it a day. Mark Bliss has been trying to come up. I've brought you up a number of times. I think it's a network. So we're just going to, wrap it up because of time. This copy will go first, please.
Good day, house. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever, what part of the world you find yourself.
Sorry, please hold on. Please, my brother. 1 second. 1 second. I need to quickly answer those something. Yoruba did not say Oma Sharia because there was Sharia in Yoruba land. Madase Sharia is from Sharia, but it's not because they practice Sharia, it's because they studied the concept in the Quran. So it makes sense for them to say Madase Sharia. So you don't have to practice it to know that thing exists, because apparently you talk about it in your religion. To the best of my knowledge, there wasn't a time when they practiced Sharia across towns in Yoruba land. But again, maybe I'll research it and then I'll answer you later. But the concept of that Sharia has nothing to do. I can tell you this one. That Sharia is not part of our lexicon because we practice Sharia. It is part of our lexicon because we had Muslims and we had Islamic scholars who taught about the concept of Sharia as it exists in Islam. It's a word for us. It's a system for them. We don't have to be big bouty. We don't have to be big bouty. Let's have Voti. Voti, please go on.
So as I was saying, right? I'm not going to take so much of our time. I think the matter on the front burner for everybody, is that the issue of security concerns in the country right now, right? So I feel like there should be an immediate solution by the government, because we need to de-escalate the tension flying around. So what I feel that Tinubu or the president can do, or anybody in power can do, is that I feel that the way the military system is set up right now, the Nigerian military is set up, or any of the security system, even Navy, I don't know, or it seems that there is a lot of it's already soiled with bad eggs, and it makes it so difficult. It makes the job so difficult. So I'm not surprised that they are now looking for recruits. Who in his sane mind, whose child or which parent in his sane mind will really be willing to release his or her child, except if he's benefiting from these bad practices? So what I feel government can do, I might sound very wrong, I might be wrong. I think we need to look for a better ally other than the USA. It seems USA is a kind of a society where they would bully you. Even if they're going to do anything for you, at the end of the day, it's going to be like a ratio 90-10. They want to take 90, they give you the crumbs, right? I feel the government can have a partnership with any other superpower, maybe Russia, I don't know, but I think it's high time we may have to gradually do away with the US. So I feel if you have a partnership with Russia, the whole I think it will be lessened. And I also think if it's possible, if there's anything like mercenary that federal government could use to come into the country and actually, reduce this whole issue that is, running out of hands. Those are things I think we should be talking about the immediate solution right now. Any other thing that is like we don't need any long term that will just take us. We need something rapid that could just address this issue and reduce this whole thing. The spate, it's getting so much serious and it's creating a lot of tension right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's my own contribution. It won't take a lot of time, but that's my concern.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And we just hope that the government does the right thing, to be honest. We need all the help we can get, regardless of where it's coming from, as long as those people are actually helping the nation, not trying to use the situation as a way to getting what they actually want. Meanwhile, Mr. Bola Bolton, I sent you a request because I noticed that you had sent a request to come up after I'd finished. But I sent you a request now. I don't know if you're still in here. Shawambe. Okay, maybe he has gone. And I sent. I accepted Awori Saxon as well, but I think it's the network or something. Anyway, it's been 9:45. It's almost 10 p.m. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. Mr. Bola Bolton, I think you just came back in. Mo send request saying like Mori was okay. And you've not spoken in a long time, so if I have to wait another minute or 2 or 3 or 4, I will, because it's been a while since you came up. So, Mr. Ejekimo, first or so I just sent you a request. I just sent you an invite, Mr. Bola Bolton, and are you coming up? Shembol, okay. And then Awori Saxon as well. All right, we'll just have those two, and then we'll call it the Vincent. I don't see your request. I can't see it. You typed request in the comment section. That's not the way to request. All right, so for those of us who are coming up, okay, I'll send you an invite, Vincent Odiase. Okay, I'll send you an invite, please, but let's keep it to 2 minutes because I really have to run. It's very late. So I'm going to send you an invite. Please come up and we'll wrap it up. Awori Saxon, get it go.
Since when? No, it's just Awori.
I don't get it there. Yes.
So I came in when you were talking about Ẹkáàbọ. In fact, àdúrà tí mo ti ṣe fún bàbá yẹn kọjá lé ní Ọlọ́run nìkan ni mo dẹ̀ máa continue láti máa ṣàdúrà fún, because it's very important for people like him to speak up. It's kind of like what we have always wanted. People like him, when they speak up, their positions are much more valid and more likely to be taken seriously, unlike the rest of us who are not practitioners of the faith. If we speak up, it becomes that we are attacking Muslims, where this, where that. Now, a very important point to make about those guys, the people that invited me, I'm going to mention 2 people specifically that I know. And the reason why we have to take care, we have to, and let's man show one. The first person is Barrister Bayo Shitu. For those of you who may not know, Barrister Bayo Shitu was the Commissioner for Communication under Buhari.
Minister.
In fact, Minister for Communication under Buhari. He was almost disgraced out of that position. If you remember the NYSC saga, he was one of those that was affected by that thing. And he refused to resign. But then, of course, after Buhari's first term, they didn't bring him back into government. That's how useless he was as a man. Now, this guy has been, making noise about becoming governor of Oyo State. Oyo State citizens, I want you to think about what that means. If somebody like that were to ever become the governor of Oyo State, The second person I want to mention is Professor Abidin Olaiya. Now, an important point about Professor Abidin Olaiya is that I think it was 2022 when APC held its national convention to elect national schools. Professor Abidin contested for the position of national secretary. Now, interestingly, he's a professor, he's a university lecturer at the University of Ibadan. So he contested, and of course he lost for all manner of reasons. Now, the point I want to make is that, in my opinion, these are people that have tried the traditional method of getting into politics, of becoming part of government or being in government and have failed. And now suddenly they want to use, quote and unquote, the religious roots. So what I find particularly concerning about them is that these people are what we call, in my line of work, we call them back channels or back doors, that you have to ensure that you never leave open. Because once a virus, the Trojan or whatever, comes in through them, problem here resolved. In fact, you may never even be able to resolve the problem. So these are very, very politically connected people who, in current politics, are not exactly making a headway. So to now be inviting someone like Gumi, it goes back to that thing we have always said, we have always spoken about with regards to political Islam. And I want those of our fellow Yorubas, for them to, this is the time that Shola Agberu's story becomes even more important to be told. Because if you think about it, the issue between Shola Agberu and Afonja was that Shola Agberu had converted. So Shola Agberu, even though he had the means, only a one more that could have supported Afonja, and they would have defeated Alimi's son, Abdul Salam's army.
Abdul Salam.
Yes, so they would have defeated him if they had joined forces. But Shola Agberu at the time thought to himself, well, Kèfèrí ni Afonja, Mùsùlùmí lòun, Mùsùlùmí ni àwọn tí ó ń bá wọn jà náà. Invariably, tí àwọn Abdul Salam bá ti win ní Afonja, nítorí pé òun lọmọ ilẹ̀, òun lọmọ ilé, òun automatically ní agbára máa òun ní agbára máa bọ́ sí ọwọ́ ẹ̀. He actually thought they would hand over power to him, only for him to now meet his demise as well. In fact, they went to Okesuna, like his abode, to go and finish him off. So they didn't even wait. So lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti deal pẹ̀lú Àfọ̀njá tán, wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá lọ bá òun náà in his quarters in Ilorin to finish him off before they now took over. So we don't need the likes of Akeugba Gold and the likes of Abidin Olaiya and Bayo Shitu to learn these lessons. It is the rest of us that must never forget this history and always put them on check, put them on notice. Come and show one lapa lesson. This thing that happened must never happen again. The idea that a man like Gumi is welcome to Yoruba land, whatever kind of book is son preaching one, it's not welcome on our soil. And as for the MSS and the TMC, one of my friends used to call them, I don't have a problem with them doing the Alakatakiti, as long as we continue to have peaceful coexistence. So by and large, what I'm just trying to say is that these people, all these people who are making connections with Gumi and all these people, they are people that we have to, and láti máa ṣọ́ wọn lápá lẹ́sẹ̀, and we have to always put them on notice. And then láti jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé à ń ṣọ́ wọn, so that they need to be afraid. You understand? we need to make sure that they know that I'm sure I want as long as they continue with those kind of, because essentially what they are doing, they initiate open espionage in Kotonche. So come on, I'm sure I won't count on them. You know, the question I kept asking was, shall safe lawyer check on while ballet. So keep on I'm sure I won't. The one that I'm sure I won't, but I will reduce the, you know, their activities. Final point.
Absolutely.
The best way to distinguish between Sufis and Sunnis, if you see those who are meditating, people who believe in meditation, they are Sufi. Yeah? There's one calling, there's a particular drum, you do bandiri, you know, they go in trance, they are Sufis. So we mean like one Ansarudin be a milder form of Sufism because I want to often I want to go fat suba then time I want some lala. Sunnis do not believe in all those things. Sunnis will tell you that all those things are judgment. Yeah.
Are Sufis not so Sunni is like a broad category. Like I said earlier, Sunni is a broad categorization. Like in the world today, when you say there are two branches of Islam, generally speaking, there's Sunni and there's Shia. Happy? In Sunni, so in Sunni you have all these groups. You have, you know, whether it's Ansarudin or even the Wahhabis and Salafis and all those people, they are all Sunni. But you are saying that even among Sunni, there are some who are more into mysticism?
Yes.
Yeah, and those ones are the ones that will refer to as Sufi.
Yes. If they come at mysticism, in fact, it is Sufis that you will hear, you know, like they are they are people that syncretize things a lot, you know. Unlike, see, there's a very, they're not this, in my opinion, they're not the same. And the reason why they're not the same, they, like, these branches of Islam, you know, came about at different times. So originally, after the death of Prophet Muhammad, right, you had that distinction between Sunnis and Shia. Sufis came later. So Sufis were the sort of people who tried to introduce things like meditation, you know, in Indian mysticism, the use of music, going into trance.
Sorry, what's the name of that group in Senegal that Thomas Paruo, Thomas Tijani. There's another group. Oman she dreadlocks. Oman she dreadlock. Oman Parugo, Papa Kori, Oman Paruo, Oman Dropo, one Joseph. What the man in London, one Paruo.
They are Tijaniya, but a high version.
Another sect of Tijaniya. Oh, okay.
So think about this thing as grades.
Yes, like sects.
No. Think of within each group. Think of it as grades. So within Sufism, you have people who are like 10%, you know, with regards to their doctrine and the things that they do. And there are some that boya activity level one, boya be they are 50%. Some will be at 90%, right? Similarly with Sunnis, yeah, it's the same thing where you have some that, you know, okay, and there are some that they will tell you they want to score 110 over 100. Here you get, but Sunnis and Sufis are not the same. That's the distinction.
Sorry, all right, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I'm just going to quickly read some reactions from YouTube and Facebook before we call it a day. Someone on Facebook says Kano is a tool of interest to all the Igbos except the victims' families. It's true. People don't really talk about what happened to the victims. They just focus on what's happening to Kano. Apparently, those people don't matter. I think they should, but it is what it is. All right, another person on Facebook says Gumi's offense is promoting and sympathizing with terrorists while mediating in negotiation. Negotiation with terrorists is outlawed under Terrorism Act. Really? I didn't know that, but thank you very much for bringing that to attention. How the government, does the necessary thing. On YouTube, and uses device. And by the way, I apologize, I've not read your comments all the while. It's because I was learning about Sunni. All right. By the way, somebody on TikTok kept saying Takia. We have to be careful. Wait, before I talk about Takia, if you want to support what we are doing, please use the bank details up on the screen. I want to thank everybody who has been giving gifts all the while, especially on TikTok. Thank you very much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Please, if you want to use the bank details or something, if you want to support what we're doing, kindly use the bank details. Thank you very much. Says Prof, can you drop the outcome of Southwest Governors Forum on Redomi? I'll think about that. Let me do one by one. Where was I? Jesus is Lord. I was talking about another thing. I'm not raising anybody. I'm going home. Yeah, I was saying somebody was writing Takia in the comment section. We have to be careful the way we have Talele. Ese bajebai. Show lekoni. Uncle Takia. Sherry, there are people who want to gaslight you using religion. Muslim, that's why you're using the word Takia. A Muslim say something, that's not really what they're saying, then it's Takia and everything. I get it. But we have to be careful not to accuse everybody of doing that. When you have your Muslim brother saying what this other Muslim person is doing is wrong, why is it that you're always thinking that person that is your brother is also doing Takia, even though they're literally fighting? Are there people who do Takia? Yes. We cannot afford to be simplistic in our understanding of these complex issues. When you say things like anybody who doesn't go straight and doesn't follow them and is acting as if he's on our side, he's not a real Muslim. It's just Takia. Therefore, every Muslim must be removed. You can never do it in Yoruba land. Let's make it very clear. You cannot do it I'm a Christian, proudly so. You cannot forcefully remove people from or remove religion. That is actually where you get in trouble. That's the extreme that the other extremists are waiting for you to go to, so that they can also destroy your land. We see these extremes in different parts of Nigeria. Everybody wants to make a point. Let's calm down. There's a reason Yoruba land is the way it is. And when I mention diplomacy and someone says not this time around, what do you really want to do? To get guns and say if you're a Muslim, every Muslim must be removed from Yoruba land. That's not going to happen. And the Muslim is as Yoruba as